the record number of career Busch Series wins held by the Iron Man, the legend, Jack Ingram. Today, that milestone could be broken as Mark Martin tries his best to shatter that record. He already has 6 wins this season, and he sits on the pole and intends to avoid the pitfalls and make his own new mark in Busch racing.
Mark Martin comes to today's challenge in a tradition of winning. He has won 3 in a row here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. This year alone, he has won 3 races in this very car. Even though he has only run half the races, he leads the most miles in this series, but it's the record that everybody is interested in, Mark. You up to break some records today?
We're going to give it our best shot. The Winn-Dixie car is awesome. There's a lot of really good cars in this race, and I've never seen the track at Charlotte as slick as it is today. And I think it's going to be a real interesting race because I'm not sure anybody's quite ready for how slick it's going to be.
Mark Martin is the clear favorite for today's race, but this is as strong a field as has ever assembled for one of these things at Charlotte. It is filled with spoilers.
Martin's feat won't be easy. There are many potential spoilers poised to ruin Mark's run at the record. They lurk in the top 10 starting spots.
If you want a spoiler, keep an eye on this number 3 car. It's owned by Dale Earnhardt. It's driven by Steve Park, a rookie sensation. He won his first race of the year at Nashville, and at Talladega, he was tucked up right behind Mark Martin. Can you get ahead of him today, Steve?
I don't know. This AC Delco Chevrolet is running pretty good yesterday in the late practice, but right now, you know, Mark's running pretty strong. We run second to him at Talladega. Hopefully we can be second with 1 lap to go here at Charlotte. The draft doesn't play as much as a role as it did over there, and I think we'll have a better chance here at Charlotte.
Joining us on pit road, Patty Moise.
Another potential spoiler in this field is Jeff Fuller, but he has an additional factor to contend with today. Jeff, excellent qualifying effort outside second row in 4th, but I understand you've been pretty sick and actually have Robert Presley standing by for you. Can you make it and go the distance today?
I really hope we can. Sunoco 360 Communication Chevrolet is really running good. Had a fantastic qualifying effort, and I don't know if I got food poisoning or a stomach bug or something last night, but went over to the infield care center, got some IV, some fluid in me this morning, and I feel much better, so hopefully we'll be able to make it.
And to Chad with another spoiler.
Thank you, Patty. Hi, everybody. Hey, I'm down here with the real spoiler. I mean, this boy is hot right now. He won his first race last weekend at Nazareth. Elliott, can you do it again today?
I don't know. It's going to be tough. You know, we got a whole lot of Winston Cup guys down here breathing down our throat this weekend, but we're going to see what we can do and see if we can put this Phillips 66 Chevrolet Monte Carlo up front.
So you're saying win number 2 today?
Maybe. We might. We had a real good car yesterday, but as you know, this is survival of the fittest. 300 miles is a long ways for these Busch cars, and if we just kind of stay out of trouble and try to learn as much as we can, we might be there at the end.
All right, thank you. How about it, Cannon?
Indeed, how about it? Look at this gigantic crowd at the Charlotte Motor Speedway getting ready for the Carquest Auto Parts 300. Some $400,000 at stake for 43 competitors. Here are the headlines today. Martin going for all kinds of records. A super team challenge among 4 great teams. The point battle at this time of the year. 3 points separate the top 2 competitors. And as we settle down to watch this on this great American race weekend, what a kickoff. We've got a guy that's won this race a couple of times. DW, what's going to make the difference out here?
Well, Ken, I think the big thing is the weather. As Mark alluded to, there's a place up here in turn 4 that the drivers are referring to as the Bermuda Triangle. Here will be the Charlotte Triangle. They seem to go through there. They lose control of their cars. Their gauges go out all crazy. They get disoriented. All of a sudden, the car snaps a little sideways, and they get all crazy, and they don't know where they are, and they spin out. They're referring to that as the Charlotte Triangle.
That's what Michael Waltrip called it in that hooligan race yesterday that left him out of this 300, and Ernie Irvan went on to victory. The story about that hooligan race is a biggie, and Dick Berggren can tell you more.
Well, what's happened, Ken, is we've got the real superstars, many of them in the back of the field. Larry Pearson all the way in the back. Dale Jarrett, he's won this thing twice. He's all the way in the back of the field. Here's Ernie Irvan. He's strong. He's here. He's in the back. Kyle Petty's right beside him. Some of the best cars are all the way in the back of the field. If they got a ways to go, Ken Squire.
All right, get ready to kick out the walls at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Grand National ready to rumble. And we'll be back with the starting lineup in a moment. NASCAR Busch Series, race number 14 of the 1997 series, about ready to flicker. Let's take a look at the Econo Lodge starting grid for today's race. Up on the front row, Mark Martin is going to be there. And what a story he is. Martin and Joe Nemechek. Martin broke the track record that Rich Bickle had held, and he's going for all kinds of records out here today. Row number 2 is going to be Dick Trickle, and with him comes Jeff Fuller. In row 3, there you've got Steve Park in that AC Delco Chevrolet, and Ricky Craven will start outside of the front row tomorrow night in the 600. Row 4 is Jason Keller and Elliott Sadler. Row 5 will be Jimmy Spencer and Bobby Labonte there. Row 6 is Buckshot Jones and Sterling Marlin. In row 7, Jimmy Foster from Daytona Beach and Tim Fedewa. Row 8 is Hermie Sadler and Jeff Green. Row 9, Jeff Purvis and Randy LaJoy, the current Grand National point leader. In row 10, it's Shane Hall and Terry Labonte, the Winston Cup point leader. Row 11 is Phil Parsons, the 94 winner of the event, and rookie Kevin Simmons. In row 12, Joe Bessie out of Maine and Kevin LePage from Vermont. Row 13 is Jeff Burton, and with him comes Mike Dillon. Dale Fischlin starts in the inside of row 14 with Mark Green. In row 15 this afternoon, Todd Bodine and Mike McLaughlin. Row 16 is Eldon Sawyer and Greg Sachs. Then you get to those that came into the consolation round yesterday. Ernie Irvin and Kyle Petty for row 17. Row 18, Matt Kenseth and Rick Wilson. Row 19, Stevie Reeves and the 90 winner, Dale Jarrett. Row 20 is Morgan Shepherd, who won this race as a 100-miler back in 1978, and Ron Barfield. Row 21 is Mark Krogh with Mike Wallace, and it's going to be Larry Pearson, number 63, rounding out the field. Here's your AutoZone race analysis for the program with about a lap before they turn them loose out here today. $454,000. Race record 155 miles an hour just a year ago by some guy named Martin. And the in-cars for today's race, Darrell, they're going to look something like this. Look just like this.
You got Jeff Green in the number 8 car there, and he's got the Econo Lodge Chevrolet, and Jeff Burton. He's got the that's Jeff Green, as we see, starting 16th there, and he's got the Econo Lodge camera.
Yeah, Jeff Burton going to start 25th in today's race. And you got Phil Parsons ready to give it a go today. Remember, he won here. Great finish. That channel locked Ford or Chevy.
Let me take this one, Ken. This is the pole man right here.
Right.
And this is what we're going to see most all day, I'm afraid, unless they get that pace car out of the way there. Mark's running really well, and track conditions are ideal for him. He was talking about how bad the track is. We know he has an excellent handling race car, so you can imagine what the rest of the guys are in for.
Now, how about Dick Trickle, who's won his first Grand National race this year? You're on board. Starts inside of row 2. He's going to give that one a go. He's nearly won this race a couple of times.
He'll be strong today.
Kevin LePage back there in the Hype Cola Lance Snack Chevrolet. Well back in the field. Had a good run here a year ago, and we're just about ready to bring the pace car in and turn them loose on 300 miles, 200 laps of Grand National Racing here on TBS Superstation this afternoon. Tomorrow at 6. The 600's here.
Go, go, go. That's what the spotters are saying. Go, go, go. The green is out, and away we go.
Mark Martin leads them down. He was fast in practice, set the record, broke Bickle's mark by about a mile an hour, and everybody's getting into the back straightaway in good shape. Consolation race yesterday, 24 starters for 10 positions. That's how hotly contested this season is. Ricky Craven down there on the outside. With him, see Jimmy Spencer in the number 20. Battle for the lead, and it's Nemechek on the bottom. Joe Nemechek extends by a car length into turn number 1. Martin settles into second.
Ken, a lot of times what will happen on the start of the race, the air pressure in the tires is pretty low. They'll let 4 to 6 pounds of air out of those tires to start the race on. And it'll take the tires a lap or 2 to build up. Nemechek may not have been that low. His car might hook up a little quicker.
He's hooked up now. There you see the red car. That's Dick Trickle lying third. Right behind him, the youngster out of the Northeast, Steve Park. that Earnhardt number 3. Watch that 29. Elliott Sadler had a lot of pole positions and now will win. Pulled it off at Nazareth. He's one to watch for the future. 3 wide into the back straightaway. Park on a challenge. Goes after Dick Trickle, and he is into 3rd spot.
Yeah, Park really got a bite off of turn 2 there. He got back in the throttle, and he really made a run on Dick.
Buckshot.
Oh, we got trouble, Ken. Turn 4.
Big trouble in turn 4. 2 in the wall. Spinning, sliding. Most of them getting through. Everybody getting through, but 2 have been collected.
Ernie Irvin's one of them in the 4 car.
And Kevin Simmons, the rookie in the 08.
I think they got in that Charlotte Triangle, Ken. That's what the guys have been talking about. There's a spot in the track there that seems to be really turning the cars around. 38 car got in the wall, too.
This sounds like something you made up. It's like happy hour.
Well, everybody was complaining about the track. I said, God, it sounds like the Bermuda Triangle. Their gauges get all out of whack and they get disoriented. It happened to my brother, so I know it can happen to anybody.
He just flat lost it.
I know.
Off turn 4.
I asked him and he said, well, I'd like to tell you Ernie hit me, but he didn't.
Anyway, he was leading, as you saw in that footage just a little while ago, and it put him out and he did not qualify. See the 38 running slowly, bottom of the racetrack. Elton Sawyer's car may have got caught up as well. We'll be back with more just underway here. 4 laps complete. Grand National Racing at Charlotte this Memorial Weekend. At the end of lap 4, we had a 3-car jam session. A couple others got caught up trying to do some avoidance out here. And let's take a look at what happened in turn 3.
Yeah, my best guess is that something happened in front of these 2 cars right here because you see the smoke here in the second trailer back, and Ernie is spun further up in front of him. So I believe a couple of cars got together in front of these guys. They tried to check up and run over each other is what happened.
Elton Sawyer was a provisional starter in 31st out of Chesapeake, Virginia. He gets nailed into the wall. Spinning down the track in front of this is Ernie Irvin, who had started well back. And landing on the inside was the rookie out of Narrows, Virginia in the 08. The blue and white car landing on the bottom of the track was Kevin Simmons. There you see the 4. Ernie Irvin is driving. Parked up in the center of the track. We've got another angle still.
Yeah, this is same 08 car. That's Kevin Simmons and of course Elton Sawyer. And Elton really is he's going to be the one that's going to come out on the losing end of all this deal because he got hard in the wall with the right side.
Mike Dillon's number 72 is battered on the right rear side too. So here's the 08. Simmons in for some work. We've not seen him that much. He was up at Dover and came out with a DNF. Now there's Ernie Irvin's car coming out, looking a little beat up on the rear, and we'll take a quick break and be back to Charlotte, North Carolina. Got a good one going. Carquest 300. For the 600, 6 o'clock tomorrow night on TBS. Gigantic crowd is out today to watch these Grand National cars, and there's a big story developing on pit road. Let's go to Steve Burns.
Yeah, Ken, Elton Sawyer got out of his race car in the garage area, and he stormed immediately back to the pits. He was very upset because of the incident. He felt he got taken out. He had a few choice words for Bobby Dotter, gestured at the driver, and then he took off. You can see he is not very happy. He's just disgusted. They've had just such a run of bad luck for Elton Sawyer.
Indeed, it hasn't been his year at all, and he's been really trying to pull it around. Patty Moise, his wife, is working with us today. Maybe we can get some information from her about how it is when those seasons don't get knitted together like you wish. Coming down for green, and as they do, they'll have completed 9 laps, 9 complete, last 5 under caution. Joe Nemechek takes him down into turn 1, qualified second for today's race.
Nemechek had a quick car all practice, and as a matter of fact, he was about the fastest car out there. Then Mark nipped him for the pole, but I think you'll find old Mark will probably be ready to go racing here now. He's got his tires warmed up.
Here he comes, Martin in that second spot. Meanwhile, here's Bobby Labonte working on the inside of Elliott Sadler in the 29, the winner last time out. Elliott Sadler in that black 29 back to the line with Nemechek in front, Martin in second. And they begin to do that tighten up in those front positions.
You know, you mentioned Bobby Labonte. If you think about Terry and Bobby, how they really had great years last year. Terry won a couple, 3 races. They really struggled this year. They haven't been able to get going. Man, look at this race here, Ken. That's Mr. Excitement on the inside there.
4th place at stake. Dick Trickle on the outside of the number 64 and right with him. Fighting down to that back straightaway comes Jimmy Spencer in the 20. Into the main straightaway now, and they're still even across for fourth. Just behind them, Jeff Fuller runs in that 6th spot. And you see Ricky Craven in the number 2 and 7th. Dick Trickle, one of those guys who could be a big spoiler out here today.
Yeah, this is a Dick Trickle's kind of racetrack. It's kind of hot and slick, and you're going to have to really conserve tires, and you're going to have to be around at the finish. I think he's got the kind of experience and knowledge to do it with. Well, that's a real race right in there. Look at that.
13 cars in this muddle. 13 cars.
You don't really want to be in a situation like that, but right now it's so early in the race, you've got to try to keep on pushing forward and get single file as soon as you can. You don't like running on the inside or outside of somebody, but got no choice right now.
Jeff Green's number 8 giving you these pictures. Jeff Green back in that 12th spot. Just in front of him, Sterling Marlin, who's made a good run. In the black and yellow, number 92 down on the inside.
Now, the guys that are the busiest right now, other than the driver, obviously he's very busy, but the spotter is also very, very busy, talking to his driver, letting him know where everybody is all around him, so that he doesn't make any bad moves and get himself in trouble.
Buckshot Jones in the 00 whipping it on here in 10th spot, and just behind him is Jeff Green in that white number 8.
Jeff Burton's coming forward there in the 9 car. He's making a good move toward the front. There's Terry Labonte on the outside, and Terry, of course, he's somebody that'll be heard from before the day's over with.
Jeff Burton with that number 9, one of those super teams back in the present time at, well, he's picked up a couple of spots. He's coming 12th. He was 14th a lap ago.
Yeah, he's teammate with Mark Martin, and of course he's won a race, and Mark has too, so that's a great team, and the super team deal is working good in Busch Grand National just like it is in Winston Cup.
Jeff Fuller in the 47 trying to move under. Number 64, Dick Trickle. They're even across. Fight is for 5th. 15 laps complete. What you'll see in the pits today? Well, Dick Berggren can tell you more.
Well, Ken, they ought to be able to go about 70 laps in a tank of fuel. Then they're going to have to come in and put some fuel on it. There is a tire rule in effect today as well. They are allowed 3 tires per position. Now, if a tire comes in and it's flat on the rim, NASCAR will give them another one. But if it's flat spotted or any other sort of problem, they won't. 1 jack, 2 rear wrenches, 7 men over the wall. Good guess at least 2 pit stops, maybe more.
There's the story on pit road. It's 300 miles, and it's great racing back here as you watch the number 2, Craven. 6 o'clock tomorrow night. He'll start outside of the front row alongside his teammate as they get it. The 600, 38th annual Coca-Cola 600. There's the interval. 1st to 2nd. You see Nemechek in front, Martin in 2nd, and Park in 3rd. And then that gaggle of cars with Spencer, Fuller, Labonte, Trickle, Sadler, Craven, all in there together. Buckshot Jones, Jeff Green, Jeff Burton slugging it out.
Well, they are doing some really hard racing right there. And, you know, Ken, I think it's a real tribute to the cars and everything else, how these guys are able to run side by side the way they are right now and not making any contact and having a great race.
And Terry Labonte's up into 14th.
Oh, Terry's this is one of his.
This is 5.
This is track conditions that would be very conducive to his kind of driving style too.
Jeff Gordon and Craven tomorrow, front row for the 600. Going to be a dandy. We'll be on the air at 5:35. A little after 6, they'll drop the green. Here's Jeff Burton. As he continues, and this car, this Roush rig, this is one of those super team cars.
Yeah, and it's a car that certainly is capable of winning this race, and he's been doing a great job in that car.
Look at Buckshot Jones in the 00 under Elliott Sadler for 8th position. This comes in lap, they're working lap number 20.
Buckshot's one of those young guys that I think's got a great future in the world of auto racing because he's got the desire. He goes out there and he runs hard every lap.
We're with you at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, watching Grand National Racing, the prelude to the Coca-Cola 600 tomorrow night. Steve Burns can add more.
Yeah, DW, just talking about Buckshot Jones, what an improvement he's made. Last year, he didn't even qualify for this race. He had to run the Hooligan Last Chance race and crashed out. This year, this time, he's in the top 10 in points.
And he's closed right up behind Dick Trickle in 7th spot. And here's 74, LaJoie dropping down on the inside, trying to get under Todd Bodine. Remember, there's your points battle right there. LaJoie leads in the point battle after 13 events by only 3 over Todd Bodine, the yellow car that's just in front of him, and all of a sudden, it looks like LaJoie may be backing up. Dick Berggren may have more.
He is having a problem with the car, Ken, and the problem is it has gotten loose on him, and that's the worst thing that you can happen here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, because that ball gets awfully close to the groove awfully quickly. He's only lost a couple of spots so far, back to 20th from 18th, but this is not the kind of thing a points leader wants to see this early in an event.
3 points separating first and second, Darrell.
Ken, in drag racing, they say they pedal it. Here we backpedal it, because you got to get out of the throttle, and you just got to run fast enough to keep the thing under you. Don't let the back end come around. It can cost you big time if you don't get it fixed in a hurry.
You see the 28, that's Jeff Purvis in his new ride, and there's Shane Hall in the 85, Mark Green in the 37, all getting underneath LaJoie.
Well, what he's doing right now, he is trying to find some clean air. He's trying to get somewhere in a little pocket by himself where there's no one in front of him, no one behind him, so he can focus and concentrate totally on keeping that car out of the wall.
Greg Sachs in the 45 pulling up on him. And you see Jimmy Foster in the 11 after him as well.
Right now, the spotter is saying after the 45, whatever else.
The 11.
The 11 there, you'll have a hoe, and you can fall in right there, and then you'll be able to catch your breath for a lap or two.
What he really needs is to catch a caution, get on pit road, and get this thing finished.
I'm sure that most of these guys start today with the spring rubbers and a lot of adjustability on the cars today because of the track conditions.
Take a look here. There's that Duralube, number 64. You're watching Dick Trickle. He's in 7th spot, and he's trying to fight off an eager Buckshot Jones. Be his grandfather.
Yeah, good. Jeff Fuller's up on the outside there. Looks like he said he felt bad, but he's running pretty good right now. That'll always help any condition that the driver might have.
But if you're running bad and you're feeling bad,
oh, you'll be whining on the radio, and I get a relief driver. It's hot in here, and I don't feel good.
How you feeling? You ready for tomorrow on the 600?
I can't wait. I really am looking forward to this race. The car is running great, qualified 8th, and they just had good practices. Everything's good.
Take a look at that number 9 scooting down to the inside and trying to find his own space to move through. Tell you, you're going to hear a lot out of that Jeff Burton before this day is over. There's your leader. Nemechek in front. Mark Martin back 5 car lengths. We've completed 25 laps. Steve Park stays in 3rd. Jimmy Spencer 4th. Bobby Labonte 5th. And Dick Trickle is 6th. The Brute aerial platform.
The best smelling blimp in the air, I am told.
And it's going back under caution, this old Speedway. As first Mike McLaughlin spun in turn 4, there was no caution for Mike. He collected the wall, wrapped it pretty hard in turn 4, and he is behind the wall. They're taking a look at that car. McLaughlin got his 2nd win in his Grand National career. See what happened to him, then we'll tell you about turn 2.
He was all alone. I don't think he got any help from anybody. He just got in a turn, and the back end came around on him, and up into the wall he went. Here's where he really lucked out, though, because cars are coming from all directions. And you can see he hit pretty hard on the left side. We hate it.
Somebody comes up on the inside. Now let's take a look at the other one. That's Jimmy Foster down there, number 11. He gets it around.
Boy, he did. He backed it in there heavy. You can see the roof flaps are open and the deck lid is pushed up over the back windows. So he made heavy contact. You know, that could have been from somebody slowing down because of the caution flag.
So there you see McLaughlin, Magic Shoes, former modified champion. The Royal Oak, number 35, does not look like royalty right now. All scummed up down the left side. They're going to try to get him back in because he's still a player in the point battle as we come to this 14th race. I like to watch McLaughlin run.
Yeah, he just won at New Hampshire a couple of weeks ago, and so he was really starting to get some credibility back this year.
Well, there you see they're over there with Jimmy Foster's rig. That one is really torn up. McLaughlin had to come in as a provisional starter today as he went after his 3rd victory, and that's coming up shy. Jimmy Foster, rookie, had some 200 wins as a teenager in kart racing, legend racing down in Florida. Steve Burns is standing by. He has Mike McLaughlin.
Mike, what happened to you today?
A little bit loose, and got into 3 and broke loose, tried to save it, couldn't save it. Now it's going to be a long day now for the Royal Oak Chevrolet, but these guys they're good. They'll patch it back together, and we'll get out there and try and gain some of those points.
Mike, there's heavy damage. Can you get back out there?
Yeah, they'll get it to where I can get out there and run a little bit.
All right, tough break, Mike.
Very popular win up at New Hampshire International Speedway, a couple of races back for Mike McLaughlin. His first checkered flag of the campaign, and you can see them working on the rig. Number 74, LaJoy, this may be the break he needed. He's down there, and here's Dick Berggren.
It was exactly the break he wanted, Ken, and they've got a ratchet on the right side, they've got a ratchet on the left side, winding Wade into that left rear to try to give him some bite to come off the corners. He just radioed to his crew and said the thing handles pretty well under a caution flag. They also put fuel in it, no tires. They're going to save their tires until later in the race.
All right, let's take a look at our Auto Week report. What's been going on this week. We're back here. Time for the Auto Week in racing. Wednesday in Charlotte, Jeff Gordon won the pole, fourth time in a row for the 600 with a lap at 184.3. Teammate Ricky Craven will start alongside for the second straight year. Also on Wednesday, the ARCA Stars are on the track. Tim Steele, Matt Hutter, wheel to wheel, and then into this spin. That took them out of the lead, and it gave Gary Layton a career-boosting opportunity. The yellow car on the outside for the victory. That's the Auto Week report. Say, call 1-800-232-1522 now for a 52-week subscription to Auto Week at the special TV price of just 50 cents an issue. Every week, Auto Week is the first with all the insider news of racing, the personalities, the driving impressions. Call now for Auto Week, 1-800-232-1522. Don't delay. Offers limited. Hey, we're going to take a quick break and come back once again. 32 laps are complete. Nemechek and Martin still up front. Ends with 34 laps complete. They're working through turn 4 in 35. And as they come down to the line, Joe Nemechek is in front with Mark Martin in second, Park third, Spencer fourth, Bobby Labonte fifth, Buckshot Jones follows in sixth. And just behind him, Jeff Burton, followed by Dick Trickle. And you've got the 88 running back in the 9th spot, Kevin LePage having a good run, and Jeff Green in 10th. Fuller just outside, Craven 12th, and you've got Hermie Sadler 13th.
Just about the time everything settles down to get single file. They have a caution and groups everybody back up, and you got to get back up on that steering wheel again, and that's what we got right here. Got a whole, boy, I tell you what, they get close together coming off that fourth turn, and a lot of those cars aren't handling that well either. They're real loose getting off that corner.
I believe that 70's a lap down. Fishline down a lap. Fourth place getting a little hot here right now. Here's Bobby Labonte coming after Jimmy Spencer. There's Burton into it.
No Buckshot, he's hanging right in there.
Bobby Labonte moving around, getting himself through the Spencer, or trying to anyway. And they say there's a bit of oil down in 1 and 2 on the headset. We're hearing that.
You know, that could explain Jimmy Foster's spin down there a little earlier that was part of this caution. There might be some oil down there somewhere.
There you see that number 9. Roush Racing, Jeff Burton. Right behind the Buckshot Jones. Look at Shane Hall trying to make him 3 wide in the back straightaway as he comes up on the 28, the white car of Jeff Purvis. Shane Hall down to the inside. Mark Green comes with him. Whoa, little leaning there by Tim Fedewa. In the blue, number 33 on the inside. Greg Sachs pinned to the outside.
You know, Mark Green does a great job. He's the third of the Green brothers, and he does a great job with very limited super speedway experience. He does an awful good job in that car.
The 47 continues to ramble up through the field. Fuller. Here comes Sadler up. Parsons in the number 10 dropping back a spot at that moment. Greg Sachs and Fedewa still even across. This is back in the 21st position.
That's where some of the most exciting racing is going on right now. I can tell you that. They are working hard for that 21st spot.
Here's a battle for 5th developing. You have Terry Labonte in 5th, and the number 9, Burton, trying to take it away, and has done so. Boy, he just scooted through. Chad Little can tell us more.
I'm down here in Jeff Burton's pits, and I'll tell you what, Tommy, Jeff qualified about 25th. He's up into 5th place. That's pretty darn good. You guys have run good almost every weekend that you've been out in this car this year. What's he saying about the car?
The track air forward right now is just a little tight.
Oh, we've got 2 on the wall.
A bit, maybe with air pressure or track bar adjustment. Other than that, we're in real good shape.
Fidois has crashed in the wall, and Fishline went with him. Tim Fidois, the number 33, was running in 21st position.
Ready. All right, bud.
That's part of one of those super teams with Randy LaJoy.
Sorry, guys.
4 of those big teams in there, and there's the 70 that's come to rest.
Fishline was up there, Ken. I had been watching him, and he was in the outside lane, but he was holding guys up just a little bit, and I think they may have gotten impatient.
Could hear Tim Fidois talking to his crew saying, sorry, guys, here's what happened.
Yeah, Fishline didn't cause that. He was on the outside all right, but looked like Fidois got into him as they got down there toward turn 1.
Tried to widen out.
Yeah, he was trying to get that
a little better.
Yeah, he was trying to get the good angle into turn 1 there. He was faster than the Fishline, but he just didn't have the position.
Lap 41 on your chart. Lap 41 is when this caution comes out, which is the 3rd of the day. 3rd caution and 2-car incident in this one. How many laps under caution so far? Up to 11. This is the 13th as they come around. So we're back to caution, and the situation remains the same up in front. Nemechek has been able to maintain 2, 3, up to 5 car length advantage over Mark Martin in second. You think Mark's just waiting his time?
No, I'm really impressed with the way Joe's running. He's fast, and boy, he almost let him come in. He almost let Mark trick him there. He stayed out late, but he got down pit lane just in the nick of time. Here they all come on pit road for 4 fresh tires, and this will change everything.
So with 42 laps complete, 63 miles, they're on pit road. Here's Steve Burns.
And the leader, Joe Nemechek, is in, as well as Mark Martin. Brian Petty, the crew chief for Joe Nemechek, says that they are not going to make any adjustments. The car was just a little bit tight. They'll go ahead and change 4 tires. The same for Mark Martin. Let's go down to Dick Berger.
It is probably going to be the same for Steve Park. Indeed it is. Tony Uri Jr., he's the son of the crew chief, is on the front tires. The rear's Ray Holmes, and Screaming Eagle is on the fuel. Idea, get out of here as quickly as we can. Chad Little.
We're down here in Jeff Burton's pit, and they just basically had a routine 4-tire stop, but they did have a big problem getting that jack underneath the car. They're in and out right now.
Morgan Shepherd coming back out, just made the field through that consolation race yesterday. Guy who won here in 1978 when it was a 100-mile event. Under caution, 3rd time, working lap 43. Grand National race at Charlotte.
74, Randy LaJoy, Ken. This is the tire that was on the left rear. You can see it's got a slice in it. It is losing air. This tire is flat. Now, the key question here is these guys have been winding on the jack bolts twice, and I mean a ton. They've also changed spring rubbers to try and tighten this thing up, but here was the problem. So the chassis ought to be out of adjustment right now. Steve Burns.
Dick, Joe Nemechek came in, but the only reason the 87 pitted was because the 60 of Mark Martin pitted. Now, Mark said to his crew the car was real tight. They added about 4 rounds to the track bar. Buckshot Jones, the 00, came in. He changed just 2 tires. Patty Moise.
I've been watching the 88. They've really made a good move. They started in 24th, and they had moved up to 9th before that round of pit stops. It looked like they had a routine stop. They've kind of had an opposite end of the spectrum day. It's been going really good for them. The 4-car involved in one of those early wrecks, they've been in probably about 8 or 9 times. I still don't think they've got the tow set right. They've had a lot of trouble getting fuel in the car. Chad?
Well, I'll tell you what, we were told that Ron Barfield had a wonderful pit stop, so I ran down here as fast as I could. I grabbed the crew chief and I said, man, you guys moved up a ton. What'd you do on your pit stop? And he goes, I know we did. We didn't come in. So they did have a good pit stop, and they moved up a bunch. I also was talking to John Irvin, Dale Jarrett's crew chief. They, unfortunately, are having problems with the car they have. They crashed their good car on Thursday. They're winning their short track car right now, and he's just not very happy with it, so he's just kind of riding it out and hoping for a good day.
Take a look at your pit summary here. Nemechek came in first, comes out second. Mark Martin drops back a peg to third. Steve Park a couple. Spencer to 11th from fourth, and 5th to 13th. They're rounding out those top runners when we threw out the caution for the 3rd time of the day. All right, ready to go racing. When they come by, they will have completed 46 laps.
In defense of some of those guys, though, Ken, some of those guys took 2 tires, some of them took 4, some made chassis adjustments. All those things slow the pit stop down. So maybe not as bad as it looks in some cases.
Barfield's out of sync with the field. Wasn't he in a little earlier?
Yeah, he was.
Those other cautions?
Right.
Let's see what Ron Barfield's going to do. In front, Nemechek in second. And you have Mark Martin in third, followed by Bobby Labonte fourth into turn number 1 as we're back to green.
It's always interesting to see how the cars change, who goes to the front, who kind of backpedals, if you will, after a pit stop, because tires make a tremendous difference.
Up to speed, and here, look at this, 3 wide for the lead, going down into turn number 3. Barfield with that Ford, got a couple of Fords side by side, and here comes 4 cars, double wide, down out of 4, some kind of racing. Stevie Reeves, number 96, just barely in front. It's Martin in the number 60 on the inside for the lead. Barfield on the outside. Then looking a little further back, there's Nemechek fighting his way through.
Mark and Barfield made just a little contact going down in the corner, and it really held up the rest of the cars.
Mark Martin out in front for the first time today, and he brings Bobby Labonte popping right through on the low side into second spot.
Labonte's been on the move, Ken. He's been coming right toward the front ever since the race started, so he's got a good car.
He sure does. Third spot now belongs to Steve Park. Jeff Green is going to roll up into fourth. Barfield slipping back on the outside in the 94. Correction, 94. There you see him coming back.
Yeah. Even if Barfield only had a few laps on his tires, that's how much a difference new tires will make over tires that just been buffed in even.
An Econolodge car. Jeff Green giving you those pictures as he makes his run now. He fights his way up and for the lead on the outside. Bobby Labonte hangs the 44 out there and goes into first place. Dick Berggren can add.
We were talking about Bobby Labonte running like a rocket. He ought to be, Ken. The car he's driving today is the same car that finished third in this race last year. It finished second in the fall of last year. Then the team seemed to fall off. They had problems early on in 1997. The problems under the hood, and they have worked at it and worked at it. For today's race, they've got a T&L engine under the hood, not their own in-house engine. In fact, even brother Bobby Labonte doesn't have an in-house engine. He's got one from a shop called Hendrick.
Jimmy Spencer you saw making a move in the number 20. He was back in 10th. He tries to gather in a couple, gets himself 8th. Meanwhile, for the lead. There you see that interval between those leaders as they continue to move it out with Labonte in front. There's that second pack, and that's how fast they've separated as we get to 50 laps.
Yeah, let me just add to that story real quick. The T&L stuff, that's the same people that do Joe Nemechek's engines too, so they got a pretty good package here today.
Todd Bodine in the number 36. He's rolling. That yellow machine making an impact.
I think a guy that's made some big changes. I know he's not in the camera and we're not looking at him right now, but the 74 cars made, I think he's a lot better than he was early on.
Up to 5th spot goes Todd Bodine. There you see those leaders, and here comes Martin once again after the number 44, the Pontiac of Bobby Labonte.
Ken Barfield was on the point there on the restart, and he's back to 13th, so I don't know if that tells you anything or not.
We've got 3 pairs up in front. There you see the first for the lead, Bobby Labonte, followed by Mark Martin. And then in the interval, you've got Jeff Green running with a Nemechek, and then that next pair coming up. There you've got Bodine and Steve Park.
Let me just say,
Jones is in there, Jimmy Spencer.
36 car took the provisional to get in the race, so he's got his car going pretty good now.
Todd Bodine into 5th, and there comes Jeff Burton, that number 9 Roush car, around Kevin LePage in the 88. LePage has been in 10th. Burton in 9th now. 00 Buckshot Jones just there, working his way down the back straightaway with Jimmy Spencer. Now you're back with the Bodine and Steve Park affair. That's a good scramble. That's for 5th. And here you are with Joe Nemechek in the 87, fighting for 4th. Got Green pressed on the outside. He's got him. And that's going to make 3rd spot Nemechek another time. Mom looking on. So Nemechek picks up third. Green drops to fourth. Still up in front, Labonte and Martin as they continue to sashay through this field, changing positions like it was a square dance.
Ken, this is just a driver in me, okay? But you got a T&L leading the race. You got a Roush running second. You got a T&L third. You got a B&R running fourth. And you've got Ron Hutter running fifth and sixth. Or no, I think the 3-car actually has a Fisher in it. So these are all engine builders, and they're all state-of-the-art engine builders.
Where's T&L on?
They're here in Charlotte. They do stuff for Joe Nemechek when he had his own team, and they've got a little company of their own. They do a good job. They make good engines.
The Body brothers having a good day at the present time, with Bobby up in front. And Terry, he'll be around when this one's over, as always. Right now he's back in that 19th position. 8th and 9th coming in here and squaring off. There's LePage. And LePage is having a great run. Just gone around Buckshot Jones.
Yeah, LePage, you know, he can run these bigger racetracks. They've had some success. Last year at Homestead he won, so they know how to run these big racetracks.
And he knows how to run the short tracks. He's a fellow that we saw a lot of up in the Northeast.
Oh, no. Here we go.
Oh, no. I'm telling you, won the milk bowl 3 times. And you got to pay attention to the facts.
Okay.
Guy's a good short track racer.
Yeah.
LePage, right.
You know, we're talking about motors now. That 3-car could have a Hutter in it because he has run some Hutters this last few weeks. So that could have a Hutter in it. If it does, look out.
Well, Bobby Labonte is the one to look out for right now. There you see the advantage as we come around to complete 58 laps this time by. And with 58 on the docket, they've gone 87 of the 300 miles in this one. Separating from the cars behind him, which was Jeff Fuller. They were running as a pair. Nemechek is now pulling up on those 2 leaders all by himself. Hey, DW, take a look at this lap back. Oof.
Oh,
Detroit
yeah.
gasket. That's almost needed more than a gasket.
Yeah, that's Mike Dillon. And, well, you can see why, Ken. He's got damage to the rear of the car there. It's probably affected the aerodynamics of the car. So that may have assisted that in some way.
Here's Bobby Labonte. 7 Grand National wins to his credit. Mark Martin right after him. An important day for Mark Martin. Not only is Jack Ingram's mark of 31 Grand National wins. That's the most anyone's ever had in jeopardy. But 3 other marks are in jeopardy as well. The late Robbie Moroso had won 3 in a row here at Charlotte. This could be 4. Take a look at the 88. LePage to the inside. And another move. He's after Spencer for 7th spot. Kevin LePage rolls up through. Spencer comes back after him. Patty Moise can tell us more.
Yeah, Kevin's really been making a strong move. They made a minor air pressure adjustment during that first pit stop, and he says, I think the quote that he used on how his car was handling was hunky-dory. They also have one of those pretty powerful T&L engines in. Ken?
Sure is running for them well right now, and he looks like he's got the grip, got the handle to get himself in front. Spencer's back after him another time, but LePage about 8 feet up is making it stick this time. Here comes Spencer back.
Yeah, he gets down on the inside, which is the shortest way around. He gets that nose back alongside him and come off turn 4.
And the 2 of them are closing up on Steve Park, who's running in 6th position. Todd Bodine is running in 5th. Word is that Todd is still going to drive for his brother Jeff in the 600 tomorrow night, following Jeff's crash down here in turn number 2 practicing for the 38th annual 600.
Really rung his bell. I mean, he didn't really he didn't know where he was. Fortunate that the concussion is all he had, because it was an incredible impact on the driver's side down here in the first turn.
Meanwhile, up in front, beginning to look like a 3-car race. There you see the 2 leaders, and just behind them, here comes Nemechek back into the picture. Bobby Labonte in front carries 3 2-car lengths. And then you've got a separation of about 10 or 12 car lengths back to 3rd spot. Meanwhile, number 2, Ricky Craven, slows, and he comes on to pit road. Something's amiss. Unscheduled stop for Craven in number 2, and he'd been backing up anyway. Now he slows her down and brings it to a halt. Hood's going up. That does not look good for Ricky Craven, who starts outside of the front row for the 2nd straight year tomorrow night in the 600. We'll take a quick break as we're running lap 64 of the Carquest 300 at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. 102 miles of this 300-mile romp for the Busch Grand National Series of NASCAR. The overture to the 600 tomorrow night at 6 on TBS. We'll join you at 5:35. There's your leaders. It's Bobby Labonte for the lead. Mark Martin in second, and closing is Gio Nemechek into third. And on the roll is that number 88. Take a look at him trying to fight his way through.
Boy, that car is really handling well, and it's got a good bit of horsepower to it, too, because he just blew by Park down this front straightaway.
That's Kevin LePage up another spot. He's into fifth as he continues his climb through the field.
I want to show you something, Ken.
Yeah.
See that little thing dangling off the mirror right there?
Where?
On the LePage's car there. See that little right off the side of the mirror? It's over in the window there.
Yeah.
That's your head in the turns, hanging out to the side like that. Now watch what happens when you get on the straightaway. She settles down. Now you can relax a little bit and refocus and bobble and weave, and then back into the corner. Here we go again. That's what your head feels like when you're going around the corner.
Good neck muscles or no neck muscles. Right?
That right there.
Yeah.
Going down the straightaway now. And then this is through the little trioval here. But going down the straightaway, that thing will go limp, and you can rest. But through the turn, holy cow, boy, it pulls your helmet right off the top of your head.
And that's Kevin LePage's car in fifth, and you can see him fighting with Green. Man, he's got Green, and he's into fourth. And Patty Moise can tell us what that little gidget is.
Yeah, Kevin's crew tells me he's sort of a superstitious type, and I already knew that from racing against him. He used to have a handful of little things in his pocket, a penny and a rock and all sorts of things that's supposed to bring him good luck. Well, that thing hanging from his mirror is his good luck keychain.
Well, a lot of us drivers put things like that in the car. I got a whole trunk load of stuff trying to win a race. I got rabbit's foot, some lucky coins. Yeah. I got on my old underwear. I got everything I can think of.
10-pound bars of lead.
No. Now you're getting too technical.
Okay. Yeah, let's take a look again at Bobby Labonte up in that first spot, and right with him comes Mark Martin. We saw Ricky Craven coming in slowly a moment ago as they began to put a lap on Ernie Irvan. This at lap 72. Let's find out from Dick Berggren what happened to Craven.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Well, it's Craven's 31st birthday today, but he did not get a very nice present. Darrell Waltrip, you know what it means when an engine shucks its belts. It was a brand new car that he brought today for his birthday. They really thought they were going to do some business at Charlotte, but it's most likely that the bolt has broken off the crankshaft. The belts are gone. Craven's in the garage.
Yeah, that's expensive because when that came off, it knocked the oil pump belt off, which means he lost oil pressure. Probably burnt the engine up.
Baked an engine. You're watching that number 3. Steve Park is back to ninth. He really goes hard down into the corners, Darrell, and then it gets it seems to go the other way for him.
I've been watching him, Ken, and he drives in the corner much deeper than anyone else. It's kind of one of those deals. He's carrying it in, but he just ain't carrying it out quite that good.
Buckshot Jones is right behind him in 10th, and you saw the pictures from Phil Parsons, who's running with him, and just in front of them is the 36 of Todd Bodine in 9th. Good battle here. 4 cars all in it for 9th spot.
Let me tell you something. Phil Parsons has done a great job of catching up too, Ken. He's running awful well right now.
That Channel Lock driver had that great victory here in 92 that turned things around for him, put him back seriously into Grand National Racing, and he stayed with it. And that's wonderful because this series continues to develop with its own stars, of which Phil Parsons is one. Look at Buckshot Jones having to catch it.
Whoa, Buckshot was, what do we say, wobbling a little bit right there?
Yeah. Had a heavy load in that shotgun, I'll tell you.
Yeah, and there's another guy that's having a great run today in that Mac Martin car, the 92 car. Sterling Marlin is driving that car. That used to be Larry Pearson's Stanley car.
That's a 12th place car, and here's Parsons coming right back after him. This is a great fight back here. 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th. Take a look at the number 10 back on the inside. Phil Parsons doing his best with Sterling Marlin. And take a look at this. You got Jimmy Spencer in the number 20 car coming after Jeff Green for 5th. And there's the 9 car in it too. Jeff Burton's there, Darrell.
Yeah, he is. You know, Burton had a great run at Texas, and Jimmy Spencer, him and Mark all ran real close together at Texas. So that car is certainly, it's Jimmy's own car, and it's capable of running up front and winning.
If it stays green, we expect to see them back on pit road about lap 110. Look at Jeff Green hanging out on the outside through that 4th turn. Where is it the roughest? Down low, up high? Where is it in that turn 4? if things get discombobulated.
It's kind of a trade-off, Ken. If you run the bottom of the racetrack, the left wheel right on the white line, that's the fastest, but that's where the car's got to handle the bestest. And if you go high...
Oh, we got a savage crash down in turn 4. I think it's Bessie that has gone head-on into the wall. Yeah, it's Joe Bessie. He got snapped up, and away he went. And there's getting hit again.
Oh, no.
That's Kyle Petty's number 49 that just laced into him. And Mike Wallace's number 7 took a lot of abuse. But it's Joe Bessie, the driver out of the Pine Tree State of Maine, whose car rests out here just at the entrance of pit road, who took a savage hit straight into the wall, wide open and over, and you can see him moving some on the steering wheel. But there's nothing left of that number 6 of Joe Bessie.
Yeah, and Kyle Petty was coming around there, and I don't know if his spotter didn't tell him or what, but he was racing back to the caution. That's what a bunch of those guys were doing, trying to get a lap back, and boy, Bessie was right in the line of fire.
Kyle's out. He's okay. Right front of his car. That's gone. He's done for the day. The 35-year-old Bessie out of Scarborough, Maine, took a savage hit straight into the wall. He went up there with the 7 car of Mike Wallace, then careened back down the track and got hit by Petty's car. Looks like he's out, walking over toward the ambulance. There's the 6 car.
He just loses the back end in that place there on the track that's so treacherous, and he and Mike Wallace get together. They're spinning around. Cars are going to come through here. The leaders are just behind this group of cars right here, so they're slowing down. What you're going to see now is you're going to see some cars come flying by here trying to get a lap back. Here comes... They've slowed here. There they go right there. The car's trying to get a lap back. Here comes Kyle Petty, and he was trying to do the same thing, and he took the wrong line.
Here's the tail end of this incident that happens at lap 78.
Here's your leaders all up here on the racetrack, and here comes Kyle and some of them around trying to get a lap back, and boy.
Tight shot now of this incident up here in the 4th corner.
He's just sitting there. All of a sudden, oh my goodness, it's a good thing that was in the left front wheel and it wasn't any further back, because
Patty Moise has Kyle Petty.
Kyle, bad break. Tell us what happened out there.
Well, that was my fault. We made a shock call yesterday, and I thought the shocks were going to work, and they didn't work too good. And then I thought we could get some track position, and we didn't do that, so that was my fault too. So, and that got us back there, and the car just wasn't working good, and I got lapped, and I was trying to make my lap up when they all slowed down, and Mark came down at the last minute and forced me down pit road. I like to run over those guys, so it's my fault.
Thanks for talking with us. That's my backup car for Dover, unfortunately.
Kyle Petty walking away from the 49, which is at least a front clip, but the number 6 car being driven by Joe Bessie looks terminal. That one, he walked away. He went to the ambulance. He's in the infield care center at the present time. We'll bring you more from Charlotte Motor Speedway in a moment. See the Winston Cup equipment lining up for that final hour of practice, and we're going to be on the air. We'll be with you in the garages telling you all about it immediately following this Grand National race. And there's the remains of Joe Bessie's number 6 coming in. Not much left there.
No, and this is one of the downsides to racing back to the caution, Ken. I mean, you really have to do it if you're a lap down and you're anywhere near the front, and sometimes this is what happens. Joe was really, really lucky because Kyle had to come down pit road that just about wide open looked like.
Just nicked the front of the car.
It's a driver's nightmare, Ken, when you're sitting there driver's side looking back at that oncoming traffic. It just, you don't know what to do.
Lucky by 3 feet.
Yep.
So now it's time for a Richmond Gear Tech Fact. Charlotte Motor Speedway. Let's check in with Steve Burns.
This is Steve Bird, the team manager for Base Motorsports. They field cars for Busch champion Randy LaJoie and Tim Fedua, and this is a ring and pinion gear. Steve, pieces that we don't see in our race car that often, but they have an important function.
Yes, they do. This ring and pinion is in most common every rear engine car. We depend on the Richmond gear only because they build a tougher gear, stronger, more dependable for us. This is a Ford 9-inch gear in here, and that's what most of Winston Cup and Busch Grand National uses. Some use quick changes, and also Richmond gear makes them. But we depend on these, and this is what connects to your drive shaft, and this goes to your rear end, which makes the wheels turn. And when you blow a rear end, usually all these gears come off, and it's too hot, burn up. But Richmond, we got it made here.
There you go. That's a former track announcer, too, Steve Bird.
Is it really?
Yeah, good guy. Be back in a moment.
Great mechanic.
Lucky twice. First in the wall up here in turn 4, and second when he was tagged and just in front of the driver's door by Kyle Petty's car trying to make up a lap.
They're up here looking for that triangle. I'm telling you, it's up here somewhere.
That's some analogy you came in with. The Bermuda Triangle comes to Charlotte.
They brought tractors out. They're trying to blow it away. They can't get rid of it. Look, it's here somewhere. We'll find it. Don't worry. We'll find it by tomorrow, I know.
Well, that's right. And there's the 49 in of Kyle Petty that also was collected. Let's go to Dick Berggren on pit road.
Oh, and there's some great conversation going on in the scanners right now, Ken Squire. Dale Earnhardt is talking to his driver and to his crew chief. How do we know who's talking to who? This is Jeff Probst. Right now, he's listening to 3 different scanners at one time. He's got about half the field programmed in. So far, Earnhardt has told the team he thinks that they got a little bit too much right front spring. He has told his driver, Steve Park, you're doing a great job in the turns. Keep it up. And as far as this pit strategy is concerned, he's told them, watch what the leaders do. Watch what that 60 does in particular. Hey, I'll tell you, folks with scanners can really enjoy the races. That's why we got so many of them on pit road.
That's the coming thing.
Well, I mean, that's what I
listen in, hear what you guys are saying.
I thought that's what we were here for. I mean, we know exactly. I know what Earnhardt's telling him.
You do?
Sure. Say, drive that thing down in there like I do. Get back on it as quick as you can, and save those tires.
I always liked the instructions Junior used to give you, which was go to the front.
Oh, yeah.
That was all.
Boy, Durrell. Hey, Durrell, you ain't laying down on me, are you, boy? That's what he'd be saying halfway in the race.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. I wish he was here.
Bobby Labonte is in front. Martin second, Nemechek third, and Kevin LePage fourth, and we expect pit road to be open this time by, and they'll be coming in. Had they stayed green, it would have been about lap 110. They'll come in at lap 86 of this 200 lap race. That will mean 129 miles are complete. Catch you up on when the next stop may be, and all of them are in.
Yeah, this is there ain't gonna be anybody left on the racetrack.
Feeding time on pit road for Grand National cars, and let's go down there and see what's going on first with Dick Berg.
Well, Bobby Labonte has pulled his Pontiac to a stop. Last year, this car was a Chevrolet. They're going to do the forward tire change with Jeff Chandler on the front, Ricky Jones on the back. So far, it's going just fine. Steve Burns.
And Mark Martin's in. Now, they're going to make a chassis adjustment in addition to 4 tires. 2.5 rounds of wedge out, adjusting weight. Joe Nemechek came in. They're out. They wanted to look at the front nose of the car because the car was getting tight. A little bit of damage to the front of the 87.
More than likely that occurred on that when that caution came out. Everybody tried to slow down and keep running into each other. Mark had a great stop even with chassis adjustment there, Ken, and he beat Bobby Labonte out.
Darrell, we were talking earlier about the records that Mark Martin could break. I mentioned a couple, but let's talk a little bit more about that for a moment. Most wins, that's that Jack Ingram record that has stood all the time. He's retired several years. 31 consecutive Busch wins at Charlotte. That's with the late Robbie Moroso. Then the most Charlotte Busch wins, that's Harry Gant's mark of 4 that he's tied. He can break that today. And the most weekend sweeps was really interesting. That's where you win both Saturday and Sunday. That's Martin and Earnhardt that are tied at 3 each on that one.
Yeah.
But this could be quite a day if it can be pulled off in Grand National racing. And the overall weekend story on that last statistic for Mark Martin in the number 60. We'll take a quick break and get back ready for green and resumption of the Carquest 300 today from the Charlotte Motor Speedway on TBS. Completing the 4th caution, 27 laps have been under yellow, and as they come down by to complete the 89th lap and take green, it'll be Mark Martin first, Bobby Labonte second, Nemechek third, LaJoy fourth, Kevin LePage is in 5th. You've got Sterling Marlin 6th, Todd Bodine 7th, Steve Park is in 8th, Shane Hall up to 9th, and that's Terry Labonte in 10th with Jeff Green 11th, and Jeff Burton in 12th. Jimmy Spencer 13th, down to the turns 1 and 2.
Boy, LaJoy has really rebounded, hadn't he? I mean, with that early problem of the car being loose and backpedaling the way it was, and there he is up in 4th place.
LaJoy and Bodine after it today. There he is up on the outside of LePage. These two used to race each other's fenders off night after night up in New England. Here they are at it again, and this is for real. As they come by, this fight is for 4th spot.
I believe LePage has got the better of him here. Got the line on the bottom of the racetrack.
LaJoy not willing to give it up on the outside. The defending Grand National champion, the winner at Homestead a year ago. LePage down on the inside, and they're at it at 180 miles per hour. They peel off back into turn number 3 for the lead. Take a look at this. Bobby Labonte up on the outside. Mark Martin down low, and Nemechek in 3rd. Bobby Labonte back in front with a Pontiac.
I'll tell you something. He's got to move in that 3rd and 4th turn up on that outside. He's taken the lead there a couple of times. He looks mighty strong there.
Martha Nemechek looking on as her son lies 3rd in that field, but up in front it is Bobby Labonte, who has peeled that Pontiac right into the top spot with that move from the outside on the high 24-degree banks. Dick Berggren.
Well, you might think this is a Winston Cup race. I'm in Bobby Labonte's pit. This place is full of guys from the Winston Cup team, including his car owner, Joe Gibbs. And you're looking at tires and checking everything out. What are you learning for tomorrow?
Well, everything that Bobby does is important to us. So we want to make sure he always has the best stuff, and a few of our guys help him changing tires. This is the big leagues out here, and it's hard to win in this bracket in the Busch Series, and we're just proud of Bobby being up front. He's our bread and butter. So I get a little nervous every time he gets out here in one of these, but we want to do anything we can to help support Bobby, and we always do. We think he's one of the stars.
Of course, he doesn't drive for Hendrick, but a guy with a Hendrick uniform was down here. In fact, we've had people from virtually every team on pit road, and they're looking at tires. They want to see how the tires work, because it's the same tire that they'll run tomorrow.
Consider this, the 44 car. I think that's maybe the team that Tony Stewart will drive for next year with Gibbs Association. They're going to move him up from the into this division a little this year and then all full schedule next year. I'm sure there's a lot of interest in what Bobby's doing and his program.
And that car, which has come from 10th into the lead, and he's fought his way around the best that we have seen in Grand National racing this year. Mark Martin, with those 5 wins, lies 2nd. And you see Nemechek, and here comes the surprise in this race. The 88 Kevin LePage out of Shelburne, Vermont, is on a rocket trail.
Boy, I'm telling you, he is right there, buddy. We watched him all day, and he is closed in on the front 4.
He's after Nemechek now. LePage started 24th on the afternoon. There's Nemechek taking a look on the outside of Martin as they come around, and they complete lap number 95.
You know something, Ken? Every time I think about records and Mark's sitting there with the chance to break a bunch of them, I think all about the records are records because they're hard to make and they're harder to break. And that's one of the things I think he's going to be faced with today. A lot of odds in his favor, but a lot against him.
And right now, it's Bobby Labonte and this other duo back here of Nemechek and LePage that are working on him, and Nemechek has him pinned. He's got to the inside. Can he make it stick down through the tri-oval here? This 1,600-foot main straightaway, fastest part of the track. Grand National cars peel in there about 185, and they've got Mark Martin high. Here comes LePage into 3rd. Nemechek is taken 2nd. Kevin LePage works his way up a spot. I would wonder about the 60 and the handle on that car to see those two motor by.
Yeah, well, a lot of times Mark's car on a restart with fresh tires will be a little too tight, and he can't run as fast as he can later in the run. Where he really shines is if the thing stays up under green for a long time.
Todd Bodine could take the point lead for the Grand National title. He's in 5th finish right now, but the 74 is up to 9th, the current leader, by just 3 points. Look at 14th place, and this has been a great battle. This is Winston Cup star Terry Labonte, and right with him comes the 47 of Jeff Fuller. Right behind him, it should be Dale Jarrett. Yep, Dale's right there. And you got Hermie Sadler in it in the number 1, 14th spot.
You know, Jarrett wasn't happy with his car. He said it's a short track car, but he's picking his way along pretty good. He's making his way toward the front.
How are those Fords going to do tomorrow? He was stout a year ago and won the 600. Will Jarrett be back up there to challenge you Chevy guys tomorrow?
Well, I wish you hadn't even brought that up, Ken. I don't think I'll go there. All I know is that they should be pretty good.
Yeah. All right. That's crying time again. Here they go for the lead. Nemechek down on the bottom. Joe Nemechek going for first place. First time today. He's there. Joe Nemechek squirrels it right on the bottom, weasels his way through, and he's into first, and here comes LePage.
Hey, let me tell you something about taking the lead right now. Halfway, baby. I think it pays something. I'm not sure. I think there's some Gatorade money.
LePage has got the bit in his mouth, and he's gone. Kevin LePage busting up through in the 88. How about this race? Joe Nemechek into first, Kevin LePage in second. Halfway distance on the course. Halfway, Nemechek in front. LePage in second. Labonte running in third. Mark Martin is in fourth at halfway. 150 miles down, 150 to go. You've got Bodine, Todd Bodine in fifth. Sterling Marlin in sixth. Jeff Green in seventh. Spencer is eighth. LaJoie is ninth. And then Jeff Burton is in 10th with Steve Park 11th. Shane Hall 12th. Phil Parsons for 13th. Terry Labonte in 14th. Jeff Fuller in 15th. Dale Jarrett 16th. And Sadler in 17th. Whoa. What a race we've got going. And just like Homestead, which was one of the most incredible Grand National races last year, the one to decide the championship, all of a sudden, Kevin LePage is on fire and coming after that leader. Just where he did a year ago at Homestead in November, halfway distance, he began to pick it up. Here comes Mark Martin below the white line.
Boy, he was left wheels under the white line.
Winn-Dixie mid-race report's going to be a dandy on this one. You can't get them any closer than we've had thus far. Mark Martin scoots back through, puts that Pontiac down another spot. Back to fourth goes Bobby Labonte as they switch him around out here. This is a good one.
Boy, it is.
Back to third spot goes Bobby Labonte, and Patty Moise can fill us in more on Kevin LePage.
Yeah, Ken, this crew and this driver feel pretty good about this car. This is the car that they actually finished second with at Michigan, so it's got a good history of running these kind of racetracks.
It's the car they call the Shredder. It's the car that finished seventh here last fall, and there you see LePage at work in the Hype Lance Snack car. Now take a look at this stroke. You see that number 8. That's Jeff Green, and right with him comes Marlin and Bodine in the yellow car. Let's get that official Winn-Dixie mid-race report cranked up and tell you how they've gone to the halfway distance in this Grand National race. 4 different leaders. Lead changes come to 7. Hey, there's no record here today, Darrell. No 155 miles an hour in this one.
No, we've got a lot of cars.
There are the leaders thus far. Martin for 7. Nemechek, Barfield, Bobby Labonte. And I misspoke when I said Nemechek broke out in front for the first time. He'd been there for a while.
Yeah, he took off from the pole, or outside pole, right?
Yep, just led early. Take a look at down to the inside, the number 9. It's that Jeff Burton car going again for Spencer in the 20.
Yeah, and you know, even though our leaders up here are running a pretty fast pace, we still got some guys back here that are closing down on them a little at a time, and Burton's one of them.
Even for 9th place. 9 on the inside, 20 on the outside. Jeff Burton, who has really come of age, had that great race at Texas, won his first Winston Cup.
What's it? He ran up on that slow car, and Spencer went outside, Burton went inside, and the guy in the middle held his line. Thank goodness.
Yep. He said, whoops. Kevin Simmons, rookie.
He's probably talking to a spotter right now.
Some real experience. Yeah. Here's Phil Parsons on a roll. He's moving up. He is after the number 74 of LaJoie in 10th. Parsons is in 11th in that lead lap with that channel lock car. Just behind the current and defending Grand National champion, Randy LaJoie out of Norwalk, Connecticut.
Phil Parsons got off to a great start this year and was right there battling for the lead in the points. Had a couple of bad races over the last few weeks, but he is doing a great job today.
Coming up towards 110, Martin has pulled away. Hasn't been a great day for Base Motorsports thus far. Poor old Tim Fedewa, a hard crash. 39th, Randy LaJoie started 18th up to 10th. We're going to see some more out of LaJoie. They keep cranking on that one. Steve Bird will get him back up into this thing.
Yeah, as we said in the pit report, you know, they made a lot of chassis adjustments before they realized they had a left rear tire coming down. So they'll get him back in the hunt for the days over.
Super teams in Grand National Racing. Mike McLaughlin's had a bad day, but Todd Bodine, his teammate, he's still right up here in the thick of it in 7th spot. Mark Martin and Jeff Burton are having a great day for Roush Racing, and Elliott Sadler and Jeff Green. Stay tuned on that one.
You're good.
Listening to Randy LaJoie's radio as Parson gets to the inside and creeps up another spot. You hear that? We got to get to work on the dyno or we're going to get killed. Sounds like a horsepower deal to me.
That's what I was talking about when I said earlier about the drivers coming out of it. It's fun to see who's got what engine and what a difference it's made in some cars. Steve Park is a good example. They switched engine builders and they really picked up.
So editorial comment about the engine at number 74 from Randy LaJoie while he's at work out there and dropping a spot. Phil Parsons has come to 10th. LaJoie falls back to 11th. There's Nemechek, your leader, and Kevin LePage in 2nd spot. Dandy race, 109 of 200 laps complete here this afternoon in the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Hugging the inside as he tries to get beneath Sterling Marlin. Fight for 6th spot in this 300-mile Grand National Test. If you're just joining us, the 14th race of the year, and it's been a wild one thus far. A couple of major incidents up in turn 4, which has become the Charlotte Triangle, thanks to friend Waltrip. And take a look at this battle. Here you see that number 9. Watch Burton and Bodine for 8th spot. Burton has it.
Yeah, you know, Bodine is working hard on his point lead today. I mean, he can get back in the lead. Finished right where they are right now. He's only 3 behind LaJoie, so he's thinking points, I'm sure.
We saw Joe Bessie in the worst crash of the day, and we were just so fortunate that we saw him walk away from that. Here's Terry Labonte on a roll coming up. With him comes Dale Jarrett, and there's the 47 working through with Jeff Fuller. But we saw that awful Bessie crash in 4. There's good news from Steve Burns.
Indeed, Ken, the fact that he's standing here, Joe, that was a savage wreck. Looked like that baby just turned right on you. What happened?
I'm not really sure what happened. I just remember I got into the turn and just the car just got loose on me, and I just turned right, went right up into the track, right up into the wall, head on. I don't know what happened. The car hadn't been loose at all day, and really trying to push it a little bit. The leaders were coming. We just want to stay on that lead lap, and just was amongst a bunch of cars and just got in trouble.
You got checked out at the infield care center. Are you okay?
Yeah, just feel real fortunate because I mean, it went head on in.
Well, you take a look at the car. The car's not so lucky, but fortunately, Joe's okay.
Scarborough, Maine's Joe Bessie, and if you missed it, we'll get back to it later if you're just joining us, but it was a scary moment in the 4th turn when Joe Bessie's car turned right into that wall, bounced off it several hundred feet down the track, and then was nailed by the fleeting Kyle Petty. We're at lap 119, and here you see Steve Park and number 3 under pressure. That's the 00, and that's Buckshot Jones out of Dalton, Georgia. Look out for Buckshot. He's won a race. He can get it done, and he's fighting for 17th now.
Boy, Park is backpedaling real bad.
Yeah, Dick Trickle's taking him too.
Watch this car, Ken. This is Jeff Purvis. I want you to watch this cat come through turns 3 and 4 right here. Now he's going. Wait a minute. We'll get back
watching this fight for the lead a little here. LePage is getting up there. That's the lead. Nemechek and LePage 1st and 2nd, and Kevin LePage. He's getting braver by the minute. I think he may take a stab at that top spot.
Yeah, I do too.
120 complete.
You know, it's getting cloudy, Ken. I don't know if fans can tell or not, but it's getting a little cloudy out there, and track conditions are going to change if the cloud cover comes in.
In what way? What manner?
It'll get better. You'll get a little more grip. It'll cool off, and the cars will run better.
Swing down.
Trouble.
Got one loose coming down out of turn 4. Spinning around, it is Jeff Fuller, and I think Jason Keller's in it as well.
Caution is waving.
Yellow is out. This is at lap 121.
Start finish line.
Jason Keller caught, and Jeff Fuller up against the wall.
I don't believe he got much damage, if any, but certainly Fuller did.
47 Fuller was 14th when he crashed.
Go through hard, just tighten this thing up.
And 57, Keller was back in 16th. Here's Jeff Fuller clambering out, and here's what happened.
It looks like he may have gotten tapped from the rear. I'm not sure. We'll see here. It looks like Hermie Sadler's right up on the back of him. And, oh, no, he starts the back end just starts coming around.
Took the air off him.
Yeah, it did. And the car just starts that left-right movement as you can do. Boy, what a flash fire that was.
What went up there?
That's probably broken oil line or the fuel line, and just flashed on the headers. And I know it looks like Hermie got into him, but he didn't. It just, the car got loose off that corner. Keller spun just out of sheer reacting to what happened.
And I think that he may have started to decelerate and got tagged in the tail.
Keller?
Yeah.
He could have.
And I think it was Buckshot that may have caught a piece of him, and there was nothing Buckshot could do. He was committed to the inside as much as Keller was. Oh, that's a hard blow for the number 47 team of Jeff Fuller.
Yeah, you know, he was in the infield care center this morning. I was by there, and he was taking some fluids. He wasn't feeling well, and he's really not going to feel well now.
He qualified so well in 4th place. You see him walking away, and Steve Burns there with him.
Yeah, with Jeff Fuller. Jeff, what happened?
I don't know. There was cars around, and you hate saying that, losing the air off the spoiler excuse all the time, but I imagine that's what it was. We were a little twitchy with other cars around us, and a couple times it got up. The ass end got a little light there, and that time there it got real light. Tried hanging on to it, thought I had it saved, and then it just come out from underneath me. You know, what are you going to say?
All right, let's go to Dick Berggren.
Steve Park just told his crew, loosen this thing up. If you can't fix it, I'm going to knock a wall down. Dale Earnhardt up in the condo in the first turn. Oh, they've got trouble on Park's car. He has parked too close to the pit wall. They're having a hard time getting the jack. Now they've got the left side up. It's going to be a long pit stop because he came in too close. Earnhardt told the crew, loosen everything you can, and they did indeed. But it's a bad pit stop. Bad parking job by Park.
Thanks, Dick, and we'll be back with more here at Charlotte. We're at lap 123. At the present time, Nemechek and LePage are making the story and the headlines in this one.
Hey, race fans, Budweiser asked, who won? September 11th, 1988, Richmond International Raceway. Starting from the pole, Davey Allison was searching for his 2nd win of the season. Jeff Bodine in car 5 had an early brush with the wall and couldn't hold back the 3 of Dale Earnhardt. Also hungry for victory was Terry Labonte in the Budweiser Chevrolet and Darrell Waltrip in car 17. But who won? Take a look at the contenders. The answer is coming up. Career Winston Cup race at Richmond. After starting 22nd, the Budweiser Chevrolet of Terry Labonte challenged for the win but came up short, finishing 3rd. Quick pit work kept Darrell Waltrip in contention early, but he finished 8th, 2 laps off the pace. Dale Earnhardt pushed his car to the brink, but couldn't hold off Davey Allison, who scored his first Winston Cup short track victory. Who Won was brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers. This Bud's for you.
With the leaders all pitting back on the track at lap 125, 75 laps to go. They can't go home from here, can they? They got to, huh?
I could.
Yeah, you could. You'd be protested, though.
No, they might be able to. That'll be right in the window. It would be interesting to see. I think somebody will try.
Just barely. So that's the situation here. Let's do a pit whip around now as to what's been going on pit road with this latest stop.
Well, Ken, Steve Park was just in. This time when he pitted about 8 feet away from this wall, so the crew had plenty of area in which to work. And they just tore some more tape off the nose of the car. That's to try to relieve the push. The 74 LaJoie was also in. He is trying to get rid of a push. They changed the track bar to try to help him.
Hex?
And a contrast of 2 drivers, Joe Nemechek and Mark Martin. Joe Nemechek says the car gets worse and worse and worse. They made an air pressure adjustment and a wedge adjustment. Mark Martin says the car is perfect. Also, you guys were wondering about gas. The 8 car of Jeff Green says they can go all the way. Let's go to Patty Moise.
Yeah, Kevin's pretty happy with his car. He told the guys, don't change a thing. They just changed tires. I also want to mention that we've noticed the car owner here, David Ridling, doing a few little dances down here. Apparently, Kevin's happier when there's cloud cover. So every time the sun comes out, Ridling does this little dance, looks sort of like the Icky Shuffle, which Darrell may be able to explain to us further. Chad?
Thanks, Patty. I was down watching Jeff Burton's pit stop, and it seemed to be pretty good. It looked like they loosened the car up a little bit, but not very much, maybe about a half, 3/4 of a round, and he moved up 3 spots, so it was a good spot. And let's go back up to Ken and Darrell.
All right, Chad Little with us today. Tough luck for him with that John Deere car in the Winston Cup qualifying. A lot of good cars went home that did not make the 600 this year.
Yeah, it's tough. If you don't, you know, that's so, the thing about the Wednesday night qualifying is so important to qualify that night, because you come out here the next day and the track is totally different. It's slower and you can't make the race.
Well, as we get ready to go once more, we'll have Bobby Labonte in front, Nemechek in second, Martin in third, and LePage falls to fourth on this restart. Then you'll have Burton in fifth, followed by Terry Labonte up to sixth. Jeff Green is in seventh. And then you have Todd Bodine in eighth and LaJoie in ninth. They're back-to-back, those guys fighting for the championship. Here's a race update sponsored by RaceShop.com. There you see your summary. 5 leaders, 9 lead changes. At 123 miles an hour, that doesn't tell the story.
No, that's just the average speed. They were doing some laps there a little bit ago at around 168, 69 miles an hour. So the actual race pace is pretty good.
Notice that Tracy Leslie got 3 laps. That's been under caution. Stayed out there and picked up but there's no bonus here for running laps in Grand National like there would be in Winston Cup. 180 points straight across for a win. So 1 lap and we're going to be racing. I've taken you down to the 8th spot where Todd Bodine is fighting with Randy LaJoie. They are fighting for the Grand National Championship and they're 3 points apart. LaJoie, defending national titleist, he's got that position. Todd's trying to take it away, and Todd may be doing double duty, replacing his brother Jeff Bodine tomorrow in the 600 after Jeff had a hellacious crash here in practice. Now let's just take another look as we get that pit summary. There you see LePage came in second, went out in fourth. Jeff Green fifth, out in seventh. A lot of good drivers to be heard from in this one before it's over. Back in the 11th spot is Phil Parsons on this restart. You got Jimmy Spencer 12th. Sterling's going to be running 13th, and Dale Jarrett 14th. Then Buckshot Jones in 15th. Rick Wilson's up to 16th with Trickle 17th. Hermie Sadler 18th. The 19th spot is his brother Elliott Sadler, and then Kenseth, that guy that's taken over for Tim Bender in the 17, rounds out the top 20.
I think that these crews are chasing the racetrack a little bit right now, Ken. The cloud cover has definitely made a difference in the way the track is feeling to the drivers.
Have 28 cars in the lead lap as they come down, having completed 129. They work the 130th, and it's a skirmish up in front. That's Stevie Reeves on the outside going down a lap as Bobby Labonte pounds through. Joe Nemechek right with him. Remember these two making that war back in 1992 when Nemechek led Bobby by 3 points going to the last race of the year, and Labonte won the thing, but Nemechek finished just high enough to take the title, take the championship by 3 points at the end of the season. Here they are at it again this afternoon.
Boy, they were. The 74 car, there's a lap car there in the way, the 45 car, I think it is. And Phil Parsons ran up on the back of the 74, and he just about got taken out by the car behind him. Here we go.
3 wide. That's Jimmy Spencer. Scoots down to the bottom.
How come every time we say 3 wide, we say Jimmy Spencer?
Mr. Excitement. For the lead, Nemechek on the bottom. Bobby Labonte on the outside, and Nemechek knocking on the door is back into first. Look at Mark Martin right there, and Kevin LePage riding fourth. What a great fight up in front. 28 cars in the lead lap, and there have been 4 in a tussle most of the way for the top spot. Riding that Winn-Dixie, number 60, with so much at stake for Mark Martin. He can break the all-time record of wins in Grand National Racing here today on TBS. Just 2 spots shy of it right now. Tries to get that little bit of a jump Coming down out of turn 4. Not this time. Back on the 24-degree bankings of turns 1 and 2. 5 cautions for 34 laps. Last lap, Nemechek turned it at just about 170 mile/hour average. And now Bobby Labonte pulls away from Martin a bit. Leaving LePage fighting with Martin. And a new player in there in this struggle for the top is Jeff Burton in the number 9. So you got 2 Roush cars of that super team really looking good here. There's the 60. Martin trying the high side. LePage down to the bottom. Kevin LePage and the Riddling cars there, and they're 3 wide.
Trouble.
Into the back straightaway.
Turn 1.
Got trouble in turn 1. They're racing back to the line. A hard crash into the first turn. Shane Hall. Meanwhile, they race it back to the stripe. Shane Hall drops to the bottom of the racetrack. LePage trying to make his way through. He lets up, and it's going to be Mark Martin to come across 3rd. Into 4th will go Jeff Burton. Kevin LePage will be 5th. And Shane Hall collects the first turn concrete at lap 133.
Steve Park and the 28 car, Jeff Purvis and Shane Hall came through here and they got together. Watch this. Here's Park down on the inside. He and Shane Hall, they make some contact right here.
A little more.
Now the 28 car is Jeff Purvis. He dives underneath Park right here. And I think Park ends up hitting.
Here's Shane Hall.
Here's Shane Hall. I got, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you had that double tap up in front, but Shane got hit further back. It might have been the 63, Elton Sawyer. Whoa.
Actually, the 63 is Tracy Leslie. Yeah. Anyway, that started back here coming out of turn 4.
They started rubbing up in front.
They got in trouble going down into turn 1.
Jam session in turn 1, and that brings out the 6th caution of the afternoon. We're at lap 135 of 200. Barn burner of a race. 6 cars now battling for first. Stay with us. Made it a sextet running for the lead. He's back in 6th spot. Just in front of him, Kevin LePage in 5th. It'll be Jeff Burton running in the 4th position. Sterling Marlin in 3rd. Bobby Labonte in 2nd, and Nemechek in front when we go back to green here as TBS presents the Carquest 300. It's the overture to the 600, the Coca-Cola 38th annual. That's on TBS tomorrow. We'll start at 5:35. Get the race going shortly after 6 o'clock. With more on Jeff Burton, let's go down to Dick Berger.
Well, Jeff Green is behind the wall right now, Ken, and they're changing a radiator. First they had a valve. They thought there was a valve that had gone in it, possibly a spark plug, but right now they've got the radiator out of the car. They're getting ready to put a new one in, and they're also going to try to check the spark plugs and see what's wrong with this thing. Problem definitely under the hood.
That's Jeff Green's number 8.
Yeah, that's
getting a Jeff Burton number 9 story. There you see Jeff Green just sitting in there, and we can get more on the number 87 Nemechek car from Steve Burns.
Guys, this caution period is a big break for the leaders. A moment ago, I walked up to Brian Patty, the crew chief for Joe Nemechek, and said, hey, can you guys make it the rest of the way? The words were barely out of my mouth when Shane Hall got into the wall. Seconds later, Brian Patty came back and said, now we can. So this is a big break. And the same for the 60 of Mark Martin. Because of this caution, they think they now can go the rest of the way on the gas they have.
And there you see Mark Martin. And coming up this summer, Pocono, Pennsylvania, that 2.5-mile track, going to be giving us 2 great races. Here's some more information about it. Turnham Green and Dick Berggren can tell us more about tire management.
Well, Darrell, you were wondering about tires. Virtually everybody we know down here has still got another set, so that's not a problem. And as far as wear is concerned, there is no problem. These tires are wearing just great. On the other hand, talk to the crew members about how they're sticking, and they all say the same thing. Now, I didn't tell you this, and it didn't come from me, but we don't have as much grip on the racetrack as we'd like to have. On the other hand, have you ever heard a crew member say, we got all the grip we need?
If he did, it didn't work for Waltrip.
Yeah, well, the cloud cover is going to help that situation some, but the important thing is they got tires left. I got to believe if he comes down here late in the race, we might see one of those back marker, not a back marker, but one of the guys that's not running the first 4, 5, 6 places there dive on and put tires. dive on pit road and put tires on and could be a real threat at the end.
So you're talking about a Jimmy Spencer in 8th or a LaJoie or Phil Parsons
somebody
back there in 10th.
You know, the guys in the front, they can't give up track position, but the guys in the back can.
Okay, here we go.
Green flag.
Nemechek in front, Labonte second, Mark Martin in third. Martin with the pressure of all those records resting on his shoulders, and here he is looking all ready, trying to weave his way through. Stevie Reeves up on the outside, no chance to make up a lap there. Goodbye. Back straightaway, 3 wide and then some.
Boy, the restarts really bunch everything up and tighten up the field. It makes it want to get up on the edge of your seat.
Well, it sure makes you get on the edge of your seat when you see them bundled up that tight coming through 4.
Oh, yeah.
Look at Nemechek out in front. Bobby Labonte tucked right in second spot. Mark Martin is third, and LePage stays the course in 4th. You've got Jeff Burton in 5th.
You know, those first 4 cars, Ken, have been just so consistent all day long. They've been the leader of the race. They've been right there the whole way. I got to believe the winner's out of one of those 4.
Martin making a move to the inside. Terry Labonte has dropped 2 spots. Terry Labonte in the 5, back to 8th. He was in 6 on the restart. And picking up the spots were Spencer to 6 and Todd Bodine into 7th.
Whoa. Boy, Mark got really loose coming when he got down in the corner there.
Shuffles on out of turn 2. Nemechek takes advantage of this big battle for second, and blossoming into that second spot on the outside. It's like Kevin LePage fighting his way through this thing. Wow.
Oh, this is
3 wide coming down, and you're right in the midst of it. You're looking back from the second place car of LePage, and as they still are 3 wide going down into 1.
That is incredible racing.
Hold my hand.
It don't get no better than that. Those guys were 3 wide from turn 4 all the way into turn 1. That was a great piece of driving on everybody's part.
Everybody looking at the other guy to lift and saying it's not going to be me. Nemechek stays in front. Look at the 74 barging down to the bottom of the racetrack. That's LaJoie going after Burton for 7th spot.
I think LaJoie will be a player. I believe they finally got all that wedge jacked back out of his car. I think he'll be a player for the race is over with.
Phil Parsons in the number 10. He's still moving up. He's just taken another spot. He's into 9th. Buckshot Jones to 10th. And Terry Labonte falls to 11th. Terry Labonte falling back. He had worked his way to 6th, but now he's going backwards out here. There you see that number 5. Here's Buckshot. They've been back and forth in the last lap or 2. Meanwhile, Mark Martin leads this group. In front of this group are the 2 leaders, separated by about 10 or 15 car lengths. Nemechek in front and Kevin LePage in second. And then it's about 25 or 30 car lengths back to Mark Martin in third. And Martin has Jimmy Spencer to contend with. Now here's your interval. There's that first, there's that second place, that black car, and here they are even across for third, Darrell.
Oh boy, Spencer went to the bottom. I mean, right on the bottom, like he was coming into pits to get under Mark, and Mark runs the bottom as good as anybody, so he was really low.
145 are complete.
You know, Terry Labonte ought to be a duck hunter, because he lets these guys get lined up and then he shoots them down one at a time. He won't take them a whole bunch at a time. He comes one at a time.
Yeah, this flock took off on him.
It did, but he'll get them back.
LePage is closing on Nemechek for the lead. And the separation from second back to third grows. Last lap at 169.7 on Nemechek. 169.8 on LePage. He's the quickest thing out here at the present time. LePage running the track faster than anyone, trying to close down on that leader.
Yeah, some of that LePage speed would come from just a little bit of draft that you get on this type of speed.
Slow car in front stretch.
8th place. You're hearing the command to LaJoie to look out for a slow car. He's in 8th, and Parsons is giving you these pictures. He's back there in 9th, and he's looking to come to the inside. Back up front. Still got a draft working that far back, Darrell?
Oh, yeah.
That lead car?
Yeah, you can get help from any car down that long back straightaway.
147 laps, 220.5 miles are completed in this 300-mile race. Can Kevin LePage pull another upset? Will Nemechek hold on? Stay tuned.
Known to be the best smelling blimp in the air.
Oh, you've got a future in this business. Take a look at that line back in the garage area. That's there's the blimp, and that line out there are the Winston Cup cars getting ready for happy hour this afternoon. They're winding all the way around the garage here. There you see the giant transporters that haul this great circus all over North America, and they're preparing to come out here for that final checkout, that last shakedown, to see if they've got 100th more they can pull out of those cars and try to win that $2 million race tomorrow. We'll be watching Darrell. Darrell's going to be our co-host for that this afternoon, so stay with us here on TBS.
Some of those cars were lined up there when this race started 2.5 hours or so ago.
They had an hour this morning. You went out this morning?
Oh, yeah.
You still confident?
Yes, I am. Great car. I'm looking forward to the race.
8th place.
8th place.
I think I said 9th.
That's okay. 8th, 9th.
Anyway, 54 laps have been completed, so we're now in the window to get them home here. They can stay green. Mark Martin trying to close in here, but the fastest man at the present time. Martin's back and forth. Check out Joe Nemechek. Right now, here's Buckshot Jones, the 00. That's 9th place man after Parsons. Got him.
Buckshot cars works really good on the long runs, on the long greens, so he's moving forward. He's coming to the front.
Everybody was suspect of anybody named Buckshot Jones when he showed up and said, all right, that's a fancy name for what goes with it. Come to find out, University of Georgia graduate who loves racing, cut his teeth at that fine Lanier Speedway just north of Atlanta. And this kid can get it done.
He's maturing nicely, and he's got a good team there. And Pearson Boys, his crew chief, doing a good job keeping him under control.
Ooh, look at Todd Bodine go up the track there.
He hit the thing. He hit the triangle.
The Charlotte Triangle.
The Charlotte Triangle, yeah.
You should write the National Enquirer.
But let me tell you, how many drivers,
too.
I mean, did I tell you, there were every driver that's had a problem there, they're disoriented. I don't know what, you've heard every one of them say, I don't know what happened. The car was all right, everything was fine. All of a sudden, something happened. So I'm telling you, check it. We got to check it out. We got to get a camera. We got to get a camera up there.
Deny, you're the analyst.
And see what we can find out
on top of it.
Because this could be the big story.
Take a look at Team 34 racing. Mike McLaughlin had trouble earlier, got the car crunched, and he's a 34th. Meanwhile, Todd Bodine fighting for that title with Randy LaJoie, still very much in the hunt in that number 36, which you saw it. And they're back together another time. And there's that base racing team story. Tim Fedewa had trouble. He crashed hard. LaJoie's still in it, and he's closing right now on the Stanley car, number 36.
See, LaJoie is tenacious. Even when the car gets off, he's got a good enough team there with Birdie and all of them that they get the thing back up under him, and then he just digs to the front as hard as he can go.
Bodine's a digger, too. Comes out of that family from Chemung, New York. They're scrappers. Take a look here at Mark Martin closing up on Jimmy Spencer. That's for third. Spencer in the white number 20 is your third place car. Mark Martin now in fourth as he tries to win 4 in a row. What are the chances down there, Steve? What's happening with that 60 car?
Well, I just went to his Winston Cup crew chief, Steve Meal, who's in the pits here, and I said, are you guys laying back, being conservative, saving your tires? And he said, no, we're getting everything we got. What you see right now is as fast as we can go. So I don't know if he's going to be able to catch that rocket of the 87.
Mark Martin back there in fourth. You're riding with him. About 185 miles an hour here. He's won 3 in a row this year. Rockingham, then Richmond, then Atlanta. And now he's tied Jack Ingram with 31 straight wins. He had to start over, going for 3 in a row again today. Jimmy Spencer right there in front of him. How's Jimmy Spencer working, Dick Berger?
Oh, I think you can pretty well count on his foot being flat on the floor, Ken. And he has told his crew he's happy with the car, but the car does seem to work better on long runs. And they are perfectly prepared to see this thing go all the way to the checker. If it does, that is to their advantage.
Let me add a little something to long runs. I'm sure that may be confusing to some people. Some of these guys set their cars up to run strictly off of new tires. They'll go out and run on new tires, get the car real comfortable like that, not anticipating what's going to happen to the car after you run 20, 30 laps. Veterans like Mark Martin, some of the others, they know what to expect. They can anticipate the change the car is going to go through, and they set the car up that way Therefore, when the run goes long, they'll catch back up with some of the faster cars that didn't set up for that.
Show you the interval from that 60-20 battle up front to the leaders. These are the guys back there scrambling for third. And there you see the interval up to those leaders. Put you back down with Nemechek and Kevin LePage running in first and second, and Nemechek in his last lap at 168.2 has been drawing away, while LePage has slowed down a bit. He's at 166 in his last lap. Patty Louise, what's that all about?
Well, actually, what we were wondering about down here, Ken, is why would Kevin LePage's gas man have a hat on that represents Joe Nemechek's sponsor? So I asked about it, and it turns out he's Nemechek's gas man in Winston Cup. And so David Ridley, the car owner for the 88, was kind of curious, well, who's he pulling for right now? They asked him, he said he's pulling for Kevin today. He's pulling for Joe tomorrow.
Joe is certainly having a run. Kevin's right there. Kevin LePage, Green Mountain boy in second, and a Floridian continues to lead here in the Carquest 300 Overture to the 38th annual Coca-Cola 600 tomorrow on TBS. Will be on the air. Don't forget happy hour, that last chance to tune them up. Get your best hole for tomorrow night. That's coming up here on TBS this afternoon as we watch Joe Nemechek tomorrow. He'll start 5th in the 600. Right now, he's out in front. He's got a firm grip on that top spot. And here's the man in second, Kevin LePage, running in second position with that number 88 has been the big surprise. He came from 24th, deep in the field, up to challenge at halfway. He was there, nipping away at the leaders. Putting a lap on the number 4, which is Ernie Irvin's ride today.
It'd be nice to see Joe win this race, Ken. And that family has really had some tough times, you know, with the son. There's Mama Nemechek right there, and I know that the accident that John had and passing away of him, I know it'd be big for this family to get back on a winning trail.
And they are a racing family for sure. John Nemechek killed at Homestead in the Craftsman Truck Series earlier this season. Younger brother of Joe Nemechek, who's flying right now and looking great here at Charlotte. Will it hang together? 170 laps complete, 30 to go. Nemechek in front, LePage in second, Mark Martin staring at third. And she's got John Nemechek right there on that button.
She's a fine lady, and I tell you one thing, she loves her kids. And she supports them.
And loves her racing.
Loves racing. Yeah. They've been that way ever since they came on the scene.
Yep. And before we saw them here down in South Florida, they were a racing outfit.
Yep.
Sterling Marlin in third, Jimmy Spencer in fourth, Labonte in fifth. You made a great statement. We went to the well, we got another battle to show you, 0, 0, and 10. And that's Buckshot Jones and Phil Parsons. That's for 6th spot. That battle still continues.
Yeah, you know, Buckshot got by Phil a little bit ago, but Phil's coming back now, and matter of fact, he's taking the position. Phil does so well. I'm always bragging on him, I know, but he runs his own operation, and he runs Hutter engines, and he really runs a great race.
6th spot there, back to 2nd spot. Darrell, back on Thursday, there was a memorial service here for Betty Mae Wood, who lost her life in a highway accident, the wife of Leonard Wood. And Darrell did the readings at that service. And then afterwards, he said some wonderful things about this family. You know, everybody's always got complaints and ideas about what NASCAR does and doesn't do and so forth. But the whole, I thought your language about it being hard to explain, the bond that we have in the garage, that you find it in the roots of the sport with people like the Nemecheks.
Yeah, well, we always talk about family. You know, we say this is a family sport, and if you think about all the brothers and the fathers and sons that have come through this sport, you know, behind every one of us there's that woman, whether it's a mom, a wife, or, you know, some relationship, and it just means so much to us to have their support and their encouragement. You got to have it if you're going to make it in this business.
12th and 13th here. Dick Trickle in 12th, and the 57, which was in a skirmish earlier, right there in the 13th position is Jason Keller. But I thought one of the things that you said that was really interesting is that when there wasn't much money and there wasn't much national interest in stock car racing, back when a driver, and you said this, driver dedicated himself to racing and his family supported him financially, physically, and emotionally.
Yeah, that's what
the real root of this sport is. That's where it begins.
That's the heart and soul of this sport. It's a true American sport, and it's a sport that is just filled full of people, good, honest, hard-working people, and they never knew that they were going to be famous or rich or anything else. They're just out here doing what they love to do, and that's race cars.
And as you said, it takes so much to succeed in this game that without family support, none of this would happen today. And that's certainly the story of the Woods family, and all of our condolences go to them, and our thoughts are with them. And it'd be great to see that number 21 roll tomorrow with your brother Michael.
Yeah, we could get excited about that.
Joe Nemechek is in front. We have 177 laps complete. Carquest 300. Can he do it? Can he pull it off? We'll see. Or will the page come through? On to pit road right now, the number 44 that's been one of the leaders up in 5th. Hey, tomorrow, make sure to join us. 5:35 on TBS, 30-minute pre-race special.
He's out.
Bobby Labonte is out. He's retired. He's gone back to the garage area. Yeah, we'll check on that in a minute, but right now, let me tell you that tomorrow, 5:35, we'll have the information on the Charlotte Motor Speedway. There's Andrea Nemechek looking on, including interviews with NASCAR superstars and so much more. And then at 6:05, approximately, the Memorial Day Spectacular Coca-Cola 600. Jeff Gordon and Ricky Craven will lead the field down for the 38th running of the Coca-Cola 600. Here's Nemechek still in front, winding this race up. 4th place at Daytona earlier. This will certainly be an emotional moment if he can pull this off. There are now some 17 laps to go, Steve Burns.
Yeah, and atop the pit box with Joe's mother, Martha, is his wife, Andrea, and she's expecting a baby very soon. They are going to name the baby after Joe's brother, John. John Hunter Nemechek will be the name of the new baby Nemechek.
Here he is, putting a lap on number 80, Mark Krogh, as we get down to the end of this one.
He's been so smooth all the way. The whole race on the car has just been perfect. Gosh, I wish they wouldn't show her doing that.
She's on the radio, guiding him home.
I'm telling you, I know that's really gratifying to see.
Former Grand National champion Nemechek won it in '92 in that 3-point spread over Bobby Labonte. That was only his 3rd year in the series too when he did that. Joe Nemechek is looking terrific today in that Bell South Chevy. Last lap, he's tuned it down a little. He's come way down to 166 the last lap. He's been running at 169. They must be telling him on the radio, safe, patience is a virtue.
Yeah, they're just telling him to be careful right now. He's got a good lead, save a little fuel, don't take any chances. You know, pass them where you catch them, but don't force it. And a driver can, right now is really when a driver's.
Dick Berggren's with Bobby Labonte as to what happened to the 44.
Bobby, what happened to the car?
The motor blew up. Just ain't my year for motors. I mean, last year we didn't have a problem. This year, every race we got one.
But you got a big day tomorrow. What'd you learn today that can help you in that big day?
Not a whole lot.
Bobby Labonte, obviously an unhappy young man, lost the engine today. They have indeed had engine trouble all year long.
Yeah. Running up there in 5th spot, and he's got to refocus, getting gear for 600 miles tomorrow.
You know, that's one of the downsides of running today is you can really end up kind of being aggravated and unhappy when you start the race tomorrow, and you don't want that. You want to end up today on a good note so you get in that car and feel good in this last hour of practice and be ready to go for tomorrow.
Must be very easy to have people just all over you at an event as big as this for you. What, 140,000 seats all sold out. If anybody even sees you anywhere,
oh yeah,
they want you.
It's been that way for 2 weeks here, and it's just like going to Daytona in February. This race has become that big and that important with that many people involved. But it's frustrating to come down to just 20 laps to go in the race, running like third or fourth wherever he was, and blow up. It really puts a damper on the whole weekend.
12 laps to go. Joe Nemechek on his way. LePage still in second, but LePage may be falling into the clutches of Mark Martin, who hasn't given up. There's the 18th and 19th positions. The number 37, Mark Green, is there, and he's fighting with Sachs, and they continue their own war for 18th position. What are you going to do as this sport gets bigger and bigger and grows in still being responsible to these fans? Darrell, you are one of the ones that picked up the torch from Richard Petty, but how are you going to handle it as the television ratings climb, as the purses escalate, as the enthusiasm for this great American sport continues? How are you going to keep that common bond with so many people who care about you?
Well, we know how important it is, and so we will work it out, but it's going to take management. It's going to take management of our time, something we've never really had to deal with. But NASCAR is going to have to help us. We don't want to ever police the thing to where nobody can get in the garage or be exposed to it the way they are. But it's going to take management, and we're going to have to learn how to do things a little bit different than we've done them in the past.
Thanks, DW. All right, we're down to 10 laps to go. Joe Nemechek is that close to his first win of 1997 in Grand National Racing. Fourth at Daytona. He's had a couple of top fives. It's been just a tragic year for the Nemecheks, and he's trying to put it all back together. You see some of the interval here to Kevin LePage in second. What a great day for Vermont's Kevin LePage in second, and Mark Martin back in third. He's got some distance to make up. He has actually fallen back a bit now.
Yeah, he has. The intervals are staying about the same between first and second, but Mark has fallen back a little bit in third. I think kind of know the writings on the wall. You just want to bring her home now and don't have any problems, and don't run out of fuel and don't run over anybody and bring it on home.
So he's still tied with Jack Ingram. He still has to look forward to getting another streak started to go after that Moroso mark. There is Mark Martin, but he's had such a great year to date.
Oh, I'm sure that Mark's not going to be too terribly upset. He knows that the records are there, and they're made to be broken. There's always a faster gun in town, Kent, no matter what they're doing.
I'm glad you've come to that, Darrell.
Yeah, it's a
sign of maturity.
25 years.
But he still thinks he's the fastest gun for tomorrow.
I still got my gun. Now the question is, has he fired 5 times or has he fired 6? That's the question.
All right, we're down toward the end of it, folks. And don't forget, coming up, happy hour, an opportunity to be inside the garages, down there with the drivers, and you'll be with Darrell Walter. He's going to take you through a whole lot of his happy hour time, willing to take you inside of his car, show you what you're doing, give you some idea of this most critical period in making preparations for the 38th running of the 600 tomorrow, right here on TBS. And thanks, DW, for that, too.
Yeah, it'll be great because, you know, this is the conditions very similar to what we will be dealing with tomorrow, track conditions. This track has had a lot of racing done over the last 10 days, and she is pretty treacherous right now.
So we're down to 5 laps to go. Next time by for Joe Nemechek from Lakeland, Florida. Joe Nemechek, former Grand National champion. Felix Savetta's team, 33 years of age. This could be it for him to start this season in a winning way. Been a while.
Well, the lead is shrinking. I know there's only 5 laps to go, but there's traffic ahead, so Joe doesn't want to get too conservative here. These guys can close up on you in a hurry. You don't want to have to race somebody here at the end, particularly with traffic ahead.
He's backed it down to 165 mile an hour average. He's really slowed up. He's only running at 165 miles an hour now, and LePage is a hair quicker as he tries to close in. And Martin has come back a little. Martin running at 164 would make you wonder if that car is right where it wants to be. Indeed, LePage has closed up.
He's closing. Yeah, he's closing down big time. Of course, 4 to go now. But, you know, Joe could be saving a little fuel. That could be an issue that we haven't dealt with. These guys don't always tell you the truth about how far they can go.
Yeah, wouldn't that be something if you got right there?
Oh, I watched
your kingdom for a thimbleful of gas.
I about cried when I watched old Bobby Ray last couple of weeks ago when the IndyCar race run out of fuel on the last lap. So anything's possible.
Well, here's Nemechek scooting down to the bottom. Trying to get everything he can out of that car. Nice, graceful line. Eases it down through. stays right at 165-mile-an-hour average in the last lap. He still remembers that 92 win over Dale Earnhardt by inches at Loudon, New Hampshire. He'll tell you that is his most memorable moment.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, this will be right up there with him.
Yeah, I was watching that race that day, and I thought, oh, my goodness, Earnhardt's going to spin him out, but he hung on to her and won the race.
Yeah, he just put it to him. Here's Nemechek trying to glide it home. Laps running out.
2 to go.
2-lap indicator is on the field. Can Joe Nemechek keep it together for 2 more laps?
Ken, you know, we can talk about his mom, and we can talk about how emotional we are. How do you think Joe Nemechek feels right now? His heart has got to be pounding out of his chest. He's got to be having all kinds of emotions. This is a big, big day, a big, big win for this family.
And she's not saying a word. And usually right about now, you know, just coaching him in, just those final instructions about where the lap cars are.
He's being so cautious.
White flag and 1 to go for Joe Nemechek of Lakeland, Florida.
There goes LePage, and you know, he's closed it down a bunch, but Joe is just being so cautious. Really, really has run a smart race. It's the best race I've seen Joe Nemechek run since I've been watching him race.
Last lap on Nemechek at 164.7. LePage still there at 165.1.
He's in the 3rd turn, and he's through the 3rd turn. He's coming around the 4th turn, and he's got to have tears in his eyes right now.
The Bell South Mobility, number
right,
87, has won the Carquest 300 here at Charlotte, North Carolina. Great start for him into this great weekend.
Good deal. And he's qualified well for the 600 too, Ken. So
and there's Adrian trying to get to victory lane with John. Andrea with John. Here's Andrea and John to be.
John to be.
Yep.
Isn't that wonderful?
Oh, great moment. Let's get right down there right now with the Nemecheks.
Martha, how do you feel right now? What a day for you.
It's wonderful, and I know John was looking out for Joe. And thank the team. The team was wonderful.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We'll be back in victory lane with the champion today. Florida's Joe Nemechek wins the Carquest 300. Family of Lakeland, Florida. Joe Nemechek coming out of his car. Hey, Darrell, thank you for being with us today. Been fun having you up here. Good luck and Godspeed tomorrow.
Thank you, Ken. And that's what racing's all about right there. There's the wife, the mom. That's great. I'm going down there myself. Thanks.
Okay, and we'll be with you for the happy hour in just a moment. Now let's go down to the Purolator winner's circle. Here's Dick Berggren.
And Joe Nemechek being greeted by his crew, by his wife. Joe, biggest win in your career. You sure showed him today. Congratulations.
Oh, we definitely did. Hey, Mom.
And Mom Martha is in there.
I don't know what to say. This old Bell South Mobility crew car. This one's for John. You know, we thought we could do this back at Talladega. And what a car. Same car we had back at when we were out in Las Vegas. Awesome car, awesome motor. This is actually the motor we qualified with at Talladega, so I can't say enough about the guys from T&L. Guys that hang the bodies, Brian Smith. It's a brand new BSR car. Just everything went right, and I mean, for Bell South Mobility, this is awesome.
You have been here 12 times before. The best you had ever finished was 8th. Today you demolished the field. What was the difference in today?
Well, I thought we were going to lead, you know, most of the race, and we got behind there. It's like one set of tires that, like, the shade came in and our car got really tight and we couldn't go. As soon as the sun came back out, we were awesome. I got to say hello to Grandma and Grandpa, my brother and sister, Mark and Marty, all the grandkids. Man, this one, we did it for John. John, I know he's watching over me. Hopefully this is the start of a good weekend.
A lot of the drivers talked about grip, not having any grip. How difficult was it for you to hang on to this race car?
Well, in the middle stages, when the clouds got covered, the front end would just slide. But the last 2 stops, they loosened the car up twice, and it was like it was on a rail. That last set of Goodyear tires, awesome. Just right on the bottom. I think the whole key where I beat everybody else was our car would run below the white line through the corners, and that's the key here at Charlotte.
As Mama takes more pictures, let's go to Steve Burns.
And Kevin LePage, you started 24th and finished up near the top. Great run. You guys came hard all day.
We did. You know, the joke that we have in the shop right now is I can see the pace car under yellows because all year long, you know, we've been in the back. We haven't been really performing the way we did last year. And C.R. Miller and I sat down last night after happy hour and really did a good job deciding what we were going to put underneath this car today. And they did really great pit stops. I mean, these guys have been busting their tails to put us out. And, you know, most of the time we were out where we came in, I think the worst we lost was one spot. And when you can lose one spot to the Cup guys, because a lot of these teams have Cup people working on Saturday, and, you know, it's just a testimony how much hard work we'll do. And, you know, with Lance come aboard today, because unfortunately the 43 didn't make it yesterday, and we gave both teams, Hype and Lance, a good ride with Ryder. Chevrolet, T&L first and second, Nemechek had a T&L motor. Lloyd and all the guys, you know, we were struggling, but we got back at you. And, you know, I just got to thank David and Karen. A year ago, we were out of sponsor and without money, and he took a gamble on this young kid from Vermont, and we really had a good season last year. Struggled this year, but maybe this will turn our season around.
All right, great run. Let's go to Patty Moise.
Yes, I'm here with Mark Martin, finished third today, which would be great for most 99% of the field, but we're used to seeing you in the winner's circle. Tell us about your day today.
It was a great run. The Winn-Dixie car was perfect. It had an awesome motor, good pit stops, and it handled perfect. Those boys just gave me some driving lessons today.
Anything that you're going to do from the race today for your practice now in the Winston Cup car?
Well, the Cup car is a whole lot less competitive than the Busch car here, so we're in for a long race tomorrow, unless we find some magic here. I don't know what it is, but the car is just, it's probably the sorriest handling car I've had at Charlotte ever, so we're working on it, but we've had it here all week and hadn't had too much luck with it, so unless it comes up with some new personality when the sun goes down that'll go to the front, we're going to be struggling.
Thank you, Mark. Back to you, Ken.
Mark Martin will start in 11th in the 600 tomorrow. And Joe Nemechek has about 15 minutes to celebrate before his focus has to be entirely on the 600, where he'll start 5th tomorrow. Continues for the Nemecheks in the victory circle here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway after Joe Nemechek launches a checkered flag assault on this great weekend. And coming up next, don't go away, happy hour. Happy for some, tough time for others. And that's coming up. We'll be with you through the entire period, taking you area with all those Winston Cup stars. So stay with us. We'll see how Joe Nemechek fares as he gets ready to bring out his Winston Cup car for the 600 tomorrow night, right here on Superstation TBS. Let's join Steve Burns with Phil Parsons, who had a great day.
Yes, it was great. Came home 5th. Phil, you guys have quietly been very steady, very consistent. Another good run for you.
Well, it really was. You know, we were close. We had an air wrench break a couple times. It got us behind on just about every pit stop. So, you know, we didn't have a real good track position. But once we got going, once the tires got hot, then I could pass those cars. But by that time, I was out of sequence with the leader. And, you know, we ran comparable speeds to the leader all day long, but we just never were with him. But my Channel Lock crew gave me a good car again. You know, we fought back each time from a bad you know, situation in the pits, losing a few spots. But you know, they work real hard and they're really good. And I can't thank them enough. But I also like to thank my other sponsors, Honeywell and Bowl Fresh. Goodyear had a great tire. Chevrolet. I tell you, we had an awesome motor in that car. Ron Hutter gave us a super motor today. And you know, my guys bopped off an 18-second pit stop at the other day at Nazareth. So. You know, we've been practicing all winter. They're really doing a good job, but we just had an air gun mess up on us. But we'll get that figured out and we'll get a little bit better there. We'll get a little bit better on the racetrack.
All right, another great run for Phil Parsons. Ken?
We'll take a quick break and be back with you again. The tarps are off. The drivers are getting ready for the final test. That last chance to see if you can make it in the 600 tomorrow. Practice, but it's the practice for the 600 tomorrow that's keeping them in their seats. Let's take a look at the unofficial results. Nemechek coming home first, Kevin LePage second, Mark Martin having to settle for third, and Jimmy Spencer fourth. Buckshot Jones had a good 6th. Hermie Sadler came up to 10th before it was over. Notice that Randy LaJoie got knocked back by Jason Keller just at the finish of the event. That was a tough break for him. That'll change the points considerably. Then you got Dick Trickle in 11th, and Terry Labonte had to settle for 12th today. And Bobby Labonte, after such a great run, so much of the afternoon in his 300-miler, ended up in 30th position. Tons of cars coming across in that lead lap. 20 in the lead lap. There's Jeff Green in 31st, and now you're into those that did not make it to the finish line. Morgan Shepherd among them, Ricky Craven, Kyle Petty after that hellacious crash, and there's the remainder of the field. Jimmy Foster, one of the first out. So when it was over, we had 39 laps under caution, and Todd Bodine has appropriated first spot in the Grand National point standings. Randy LaJoy, 5 points back in second. Jeff Green in third. Then it comes Phil Parsons and Dick Turkett. So that's how they go after this race today, in which Joe Nemechek carried those family colors to the victory circle. Hey, don't go away. We've got more. Happy Hour show, NASCAR 97 Road to the Championship. Stay tuned. John Wayne tonight, Rio Lobo at 8:05 on TBS. And the Atlanta Braves take on the Dodgers at 10 this evening. Action-packed evening. And tomorrow, 5:35 begins our run toward the 600 at Charlotte. For Darrell Waltrip, Dick Berggren, Steve Burns, Chad Little, Patty Moise, I'm Ken Squire. Happy Hour's next. Stay with us.